her call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's over at the safe haven. Detective 12, take a check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2-1 star, take your shots.
Officer still stands for prosecution, no? Offender in custody? Please step forward. If anyone else falls by this arrest, let me know.
Oh, good evening, everybody. You gotta love technology. Technology always wants to either update or shut down whenever you're getting ready to do a damn show, man. All the time, I swear. I swear. I don't know how many times, not tonight though, but I don't know how many times 5 minutes before the show, internet. Tonight it was phone update. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Always, always, always. Thank you everybody for hopping in. Appreciate you. Tonight's going to be a difficult night. We're going to be covering a lot of the cases that we were covering last week. Um, also, there's a couple new cases that have came out. One of them today. Yeah, another female found in the woods. That happened this morning. So we'll be talking about all that. We'll be going through all the breaking news tonight. We'll be covering everything that we haven't covered since last week. Thank you, everybody, for hopping in the WSU Kim Part 2 show on Saturday night. Thank you for hopping in the members only on Sunday. And then also the special that we had last night covering the Indiana-Alabama manhunt that happened a couple years ago with some real footage and some very interesting interviews from eyewitnesses. If you missed it, you'll definitely want to check it out. I'll pin the episode in the comment section after the show. Also, at the same time tonight, I'm going to be dealing with possible tornadoes. So if I have to throw the coffee cup up real quick and skedaddle out of here for a minute, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe I can get on street. You know what I'll do? That's what I'll do. I'll get on StreamYard on my phone, and then I'll just take you guys down there with me if I have to go to the basement. We'll see. So prayers for that, because as the night goes on, the storms are going to get worse, and the possibilities for tornadoes are going to get worse. And you know it's bad when Ryan Hall, y'all, is doing a live covering all the tornado outbreaks that are happening in the region. So lucky us. And prayers to all of you who are watching in those affected areas as well. If you have something, please let me know, because it might be happening around my way too. So keep me updated, and I'll try and keep you updated. And if we have to go move the show to the basement, we will. We'll figure something out. I don't know. I have, I'm usually one to prepare for every single thing, and then after that thing that I prepared for, but I never even. Maybe I should start doing it as we get into the spring and the summer. Maybe I should start thinking about, all right, dude, what happens if you're live and you have a tornado warning and you need to go to the basement? Let me think about that. I'll have to figure that out. In that way, if there ever is one, I can just grab and head downstairs. We can still be rolling somehow. Because I'm gonna be in the basement anyway. You know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna do? What else am I gonna do? What else am I gonna do? I'm gonna stand in the basement. All right. So go ahead and get to the hellos tonight. And we'll get into a couple of the breaking news, and then we'll get into the topics of this evening. I'm going to leave the show up to you. We have different episodes from the cases, especially in the thumbnails, different Nancy Grace that we can check out. She's been coming out with some really good information regarding these cases for these children, and also if you guys would like to call too, you're more than welcome. It's going to be an episode where you can call in. Just let me know in chat. If you don't see the phone number up there and you'd like to call in, just type in chat and let me know, and I can go ahead and get that ready for you guys. And I could put the phone number up there. Also, let me see what else. Also, one thing I wanted to share is when it comes to the Everyone Evil CJ Discord. So what I'm going to do, and it's going to be as the next couple days come, what I'm going to be doing, and I added one tonight, it's called Breaking News. So if you are part of the Everyone Evil CJ Discord, or you want to be, just click that link, and I set up a breaking news folder. So that way, if there is anything that's breaking news and anybody that's part of that community wants to share it with the show, you can just drop it right in the breaking news. If it's a new case, then what I'll end up doing is I'll end up cleaning through the breaking news and then creating folders for those cases as well. Any new cases that we come across. And also, in the meantime, I'm going to be putting up all of the different cases that we do cover. So that way, if any of you do come up with information, instead of having it spread out in all these different areas, I thought, I want to highlight you all as much as I can, because you all do an amazing amount of work as well. And I know that sometimes I'm not able to get to all the links. And so I thought about just having a folders separated just for you guys to drop all that stuff to. And then that way it's all separated and organized. And whenever we do get to that next topic, if it isn't that evening or that day, then it'll still be there and it doesn't get lost in all the other information that you all share with the show. And so I wanted to make sure that we could, keep all that hard work that you guys do and get to all of it as organized as possible. And so I thought this would probably be a good way to do that. It's not going to be a folder section when it comes to case conversation, okay? Because sometimes I do lose information because a lot of the chatter, and I don't want to take away from the chatter because you all have amazing conversations too. So if you do find something, drop it in the Everyone chat to still maintain that chatter that you do have with the community, but also drop that link in whatever category or folder it would go into as well. So that way, when we do have it on the show, we can not only discuss what you discuss, but we can kind of discuss it with everybody else that wasn't being able to discuss that as well. So just go ahead and drop it in the breaking news for now. That's the first one I have up. And then as the next couple days progress, I'm going to be adding all the different cases that we discuss. And the ones that we are currently discussing will always be at the very top. So it'll be a lot easier for everybody. And I think it'll be a great way, because not only the people that are in the Everyone community for Discord are able, maybe they might have missed your conversation and might have missed out on the link too. It's a great way for everybody that's a part of the community to be able to go see whatever they might have missed before, so they can also get caught up on the information as well, just in case maybe I might not be on. So I think it's a great way to involve all of you, make sure all of your hard work is highlighted, and not to mention, you're not just sending me the link where I might be the only one that sees the great work that you're doing. If you drop it in the Everyone chat too, everybody gets to see the great work that you're doing too. So I think it's going to be a win-win-win, just like the PPP. And so if you'd like to be a part of it, Please do. And like I said before, it's not going to be a case chat folder because I need to be able to get to all that information as quick as possible. So that's why I'm saying go ahead and drop it in the everyone and drop it in the case. That way you can still maintain that conversation that you guys have. Because you guys, I'm telling you, like when I'm sitting up at night and I'm working on the show after the show's done and I'm sitting there and I don't get to be involved in it because I'm busy doing all the work, but I do get to see the chatter that you guys are discussing when it comes to all your guys' interesting thoughts and the sleuthing that you guys do. And I'm just like, man, I just sit back every night and I'm like, everybody deserves to like have all this stuff, and I don't want to miss it. I feel bad missing it. So I think it's a great way to make sure everybody's included. Ticket number 1, thank you for Katrina. Thank you for hopping in. Diane, appreciate you. Ticket number 2, Kib Kitty. Ticket number 3, thank you. Caddy. Ticket 4. Look at all those emojis. Love it. Look at all those emojis. And ticket 5, thank you. Leslie Billy. Number 6. Well, thank you for being early. I appreciate it. And we're going to be having a hell of a show tomorrow. We're going to be live at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern. We're going to be covering the live Coburger. I'm going to be reading through the HTC Coburger message board tomorrow. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. We're going to be taking your calls tomorrow. It's going to be a hell of a show. I can't wait. Can't wait. Skittles, ticket 7. Love it. I'm ready to spend all day with you. And then we have the game night. I already have the notification out for that too. So if you want to come hang out, you can be a contestant on the show. You choose what game you want to be a contestant for. And it's going to be going on the whole night for a couple hours there just to say thank you for hanging out earlier in the day. D. Marie, ticket number 8. Thank you for hopping in. Aw, look at all that love. What's wrong with all that love, right? 49er girl, ticket 10. Hope you have a great evening too. Missed some football. Collateral damage, ticket 11. It was, I went out to practice the drone. It was pretty windy, but I've only been able to practice a few days just because I've been trying to like not fly it in the conditions where it's, where it doesn't go like this. But I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of it's only been a couple days. I'm tired. I got to go out there, even if it's freaking windy. What's up, Crystal? Even if it's freaking windy. Because then maybe if I practice when it's really windy, then when it comes time when it's nice and calm, then I'm a freaking all-star, Because I already practiced on the difficult level. What's up, Collateral? Allergy season, yes. Speaking of, let me clear myself. Golden ticket number 20. You know what's weird is like I see like on the replay it doesn't show up as a golden ticket. Doesn't it show up like as a blue one or something? What's up, SM? And then K Miller. Look at all that dancing. SM ticket 21. Thank you for hopping in. Thank you. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about this whole ASMR stuff, Been thinking about doing that too. Not here though. Over at the lounge. The lounge. Michelle, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I try to be. I'm not as much as I wish I would and could be, but I really do try. What's up, Regina? How are you doing? Peace and love to you too. Skittles, Michelle, Katrina, Christine. Yeah, tornadoes from 80 to 40 here. Holy crap, that's a drop. Yeah, everybody please be safe. I was just grilling. Oh, I wish I was. Man, that sounds so good. Oh. I can, because that's all I used to do. All I used to do was grill out until about 5 or 6 years ago. Before then, That's all I did was grill out. I maybe had lunch or supper on the stove a night, maybe 2 out of the week. Most of the time it was grilling. What's up, Christina? Ticket 25. I miss it. Take your flashlight and a candle with you. I know. I'm not even prepared for like usually I'm prepared for everything beyond being prepared. Prepared for everything after being prepared to that. And this, I didn't even think about it till tonight. I'm like, shit, what am I gonna? I guess I'll just hang out on StreamYard on the phone. I got to think about that. I got to think about a way that I can just grab my shit and go, because it's gonna get like that pretty soon here. If it's starting in March, not even. Think about what it's gonna be in the springtime, in the summer, and the fall. Right. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And I apologize about it taking so long. Hold on a second. Contribution call out. Thank you so much for your support, Diana, becoming a member. I could have swore you were a member before. But thank you. Appreciate you so much. And thank you for all your peace, positivity, and progressive attitude that you've came in here ever since you came in here. So thank you so much for all of that too, because that's the main contribution. I want to call you out for it, and thank you for becoming a member. I'm going to be doing some different things. I talked to the members. I'm going to be doing some different things. You'll see what I'm saying. That'll be coming up soon, but there's other things I need to get done and get going here. I joined your Discord, but I don't know how to use it still. Oh, it's okay. It is a little confusing. Just check out videos on YouTube, and I'm telling you, like, I didn't even know anything about Discord until I started looking up videos, and then I was like, oh, because when you see it, the easiest thing you can do is be on a computer. That's the best advice I can give anybody, because the phone, yeah, it is difficult, but the computer, if you're able, or a tablet, makes a huge difference. What's up, Detective? Michelle. Do it. What's up, Lucy Lou? I love that name. I love it. I love the wordplay of it. What's up, Michi girl? 75 in Michigan, snow and wind. Oh, I don't even want to hear the word snow. Crazy. Yes, we do have that. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that. I have a flashlight and a poo-poo, too many getting hurt. You know what I mean? It's like ever since the beginning of last week, it's getting crazy. And now we got new cases. Like, wait till you hear these tonight. Contribution call out, Teresa, member for 2 months. I love you being a part of the channel. And thank you so much for all your hard work that you do for the community, because you not only send me information, but you send it to the community as well. And we appreciate all that hard work. That's why I wanted to do that Discord for you guys. So there is one right now. It's breaking news. It's all I could do before the show. I've been busy working on other things the whole day. But next couple days, you're going to see bloop, 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 bloop. You know, you might see a good chunk of 3 or 4 pop up, you know, and this and that, but continue to drop everything in breaking news and in the everyone chat too. So that way y'all can have your conversation still, because I love it. And I don't miss out on the information. My Discord on my phone. Yeah. Thank you so much for the membership, Teresa. Had a good members live there on Sunday. That was a sneak peek for you guys. I enjoyed doing it, even though it wasn't planned. But that's what I like to do anyways, those early Christmas gifts. All right. So give me 80 degrees, Katrina. Holy shit. I know, it's pretty warm here too. I think it was like 72 or something. It's pretty nice out. It's just windy. beautiful. Windy. Now it's dark and it's going to get nasty. So if you do hear about tornadoes popping off, let me know too. Please. All right, we'll be right back. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. It is the free way to help. And if you're not subscribed, please consider it. And we're going to start the show. Unfortunately, we're going to get into some really sad news tonight. I'll be right back. And I'm not picking my nose.
We have
All right, here we go. Here's some breaking news here real quick. Couple cases.
We have some breaking news now about a body found along the Summit-Portage County line. The woman's body was found this morning in a wooded area on Middlebury Road. The medical examiner calls the death suspicious. And just a short time ago, police confirmed the body found is that of Chandra Padel Rommel. The Cuyahoga Falls woman hasn't been seen since last week. BCI has been called in to investigate along with a number of local police agencies.
And that breaking news this afternoon, the search for a missing 15-year-old boy in Sumner County is now an Amber Alert. Hi, everyone. A lot to get to here at 4 o'clock. I'm Hunter Hoagland. Sebastian Rogers left his house sometime Sunday night or Monday morning and has not been seen or heard from since. He has autism, which makes finding him even more important. Hannah McDonald has been on the ground covering this story for us today in Hendersonville. Hannah, do we know why this has now been upgraded to an Amber Alert?
I just got clarification on that, Hunter. In this case, the reason it is an Amber Alert now is because so much time has passed. There's bad weather coming in, and this young man has not had his medication in about 36 hours or more, and he needs it. There are more than 200 searchers currently looking for Sebastian Rogers. And I'll be honest, it's a bit tense. It feels like everyone here has their head on a swivel. Behind me, the Shackle Island Fire Hall is the home base for the search crews. There's a lot of unique ground to cover in this area. This neighborhood quickly goes from suburban to rural. So Sumner County Emergency Management Director Ken Widener told me that in order to keep everyone on the same page, they only want professionals searching right now. However, it is so hard to stop people in this community from jumping into action when a child's life is potentially in danger.
Well, you can look right there and see, little kid, he likes to get in buildings, they said. So he could be in that barn somewhere, I've seen people looking through all these here. But if he's scared, he's going to wait and come out when nobody's around, probably. That's the reason I'm trying to ride the road to see if maybe there's a chance he'll come out and I'll see him,
So here's what we know about the missing 15-year-old. At this point, we know he wandered away from Stafford Court. He is 5 foot 5 inches and 120 pounds. He was last seen wearing his glasses, a black sweatshirt, and black sweatpants. He has autism, which could mean he's drawn to water and closed spaces or places of special interest to him. How you can help law enforcement is by looking in any of your garages, sheds, barns, unused buildings, and checking for him. There's a case. There is the possibility that he is hiding in one of those buildings. In Hendersonville, Hannah McDonald, News Channel 5.
New at 6, the mother of a man who died in the Oklahoma County Jail wants answers. Jail officials say Derek Strother was found in his cell unresponsive Monday morning.
His cause of death is still unknown. News 9's Deanne Stein is live right now at the jail with more about the man who died. Deanne?
Yeah, there's a few, everybody.
Amanda Carl, Deborah Stanton, said her son was prepared to face the consequences of his crimes, but they weren't prepared for his death.
This family's devastated.
Deborah Stanton says she still can't understand why her son, Derek Strother, is gone.
As of 2 days ago, my son was alive. He was fine. He was doing good.
Jail officials say detention officers discovered the 31-year-old in his cell Monday morning, unresponsive, and began administering Narcan and performing CPR.
Like how?
He was transported to the hospital where he died.
Narcan.
But if it comes out
Narcan.
that anything was given to my son,
Narcan.
somebody's going to pay. I will take it to the highest level.
Strother was booked into the detention center back in December following a deadly crash near Northeast 23rd and MLK that killed one person, Jordan Lacey. Strother faced multiple charges, including second-degree murder and DUI.
He said, Mother, a man died. I am responsible. And we feel terribly sorry for that family. And if you're listening, family, our hearts have gone out to you so many times.
But Stanton says her son didn't deserve to die.
I want answers, and I want to know why. So many people, facilities, so many individuals have died. I want justice for my son. I want justice for the other people that have died there.
She says he leaves behind a family that loves him, including 4 children.
I'm going to miss my son's smile. I'm going to miss him coming up and giving me a big hug and lifting me up and saying, I love you, Mom.
Now, Strother's official cause of death is still under investigation. Live in Oklahoma City, Deanne Stein, Oklahoma's own News 9.
There's one
You
more.
updated on that story that we brought you at the top of the hour.
There's
right now, a
another
man
one.
is under arrest for murder as part of an ongoing investigation into the disappearance of a woman. We've got Chase Howell, who
4
has
more.
just arrived in Kokomo, where he's been reaching out to police for more information about what happened. What have you learned, Chase?
Scott, Felicia, I'm here at the 800 block of North J Street, where Bradley's family said they last saw her in mid-January. And like you just mentioned, it was about a month after that she was reported missing. Now, it was during that investigation where police were led to a remote location. Now, a man is facing a charge of murder and has been taken to the Howard County Jail. Bradley taken to a TikTok a month before her family say they last saw her with some chilling claims.
My bedroom door's been kicked in, and my electric heater's been taken because it's his. The furnace don't work in the house. And do you have somebody threatening to murder you? Do you have someone kicking in your bedroom door to take their electric heater back?
Whoa.
Cut.
Whoa.
I have reached out to Kokomo police to find
Whoa.
out what they found at that remote location and where it was exactly. When I hear back from KPD, we'll be sure to update you here and at WTHR.com.
So those are 4 new cases I wanted to show you guys today, just alone. Today that I wanted to introduce you guys. Yeah, all of it, right? All of it. What the fuck? And then we're going to get into these that we're going to get into tonight. So, did anybody see the press conference for Elijah Vue? Let me know if you did or didn't. One thing I want to shout out to Kay Miller. I appreciate her very much for dropping this in Discord. This is it brings me back to the Cavalcante manhunt when we saw this as well, and so I want to say shout out to her for sharing this in Discord. This is the updated location of the searches. So thank you for that. That definitely helps anybody checking out or trying to help locate this individual, whether it's from local or afar. These are always important. And so shout out to her for sharing that with us. Very important. All right. We're going to play the Elijah Vue press conference here. Let me see here. Okay, well, I had it. No, there it is. We're going to play the press conference. I wanted to share that. So please share it with everybody. Share it on socials. Share it everywhere. You never know who might come across it and who might be able to help when it comes to the search for this boy. If there's any more of these that anybody knows of, please drop them in the breaking news or send it to one of the social links that I have, and I'll definitely share that as well when it comes to these searches. So definitely click on that and check it out. Couple things I want to share real quick is we got tomorrow live court hearing, your live calls, and I'm going to be reading the HTC Coburger message board with the visual snow. We'll be doing that tomorrow as well, plus getting caught up on all the other discussions and what's going on for that case. And then tomorrow night, community hangout game night, where you get to choose to be the contestant. So here's the link for our show tomorrow. And we'll be doing that at noon Eastern. We'll be starting. And then we'll go ahead and have it live. And we'll be going through a whole bunch of other stuff as well when it comes to the case, especially this HTC. I want to read this. Again, it's been over a year since I read it, and I definitely want to read it again. And then if you want to come hang out for the game night, here's the link for that. And you can come hang out and try and be a contestant if you want. You can play from the phone call, chat, or panel. It's whatever you want. All right. So we're going to get to this press conference here real quick. I have not been able to watch it yet when it comes to the search for Elijah Vue. And I didn't even get to see the court hearing yesterday. So let us know in chat if there's anybody else in chat that hasn't got to see it either. Let us know what happened during that court hearing.
Welcome everybody here to Two Rivers, Wisconsin tonight. My name is Dan Hartwig, Manitowoc County Sheriff, spelling my last name Hertwig. I'll be serving as public information officer for this press conference for the Two Rivers Police Department this evening. From the time he went missing, everyone has been working tirelessly to find 3-year-old Elijah. He is our number one focus, and finding him is the top priority of every single law enforcement officer, volunteer, member of this community, and his family. We have brought in some of the best people in the country over the past week to find him. We want to thank all of our law enforcement partners, specifically our local law enforcement,
Typically Unique
Division of
38.
Criminal Investigations, FBI, local volunteer fire departments, private search and rescue, community search groups, local businesses for food donations, and Wisconsin sheriffs for providing a multitude of resources to our search for Elijah. Tonight you have a couple speakers before you. First up will be Chief Ben Minard of the Two Rivers Police Department to provide an update on search efforts over the past week. We'll also have two members of Elijah's family who will also speak here tonight. Some things I want to let you folks know as well. When the family comes up here to speak, they're going to be stepping off to the side once they are completed. We respectfully request that you do not film them after they are done speaking. The chief will have about 5 minutes for questions after everyone is done speaking. He will not speak about the current situation involving Katrina Bauer and Jesse Vue. Most of that is already in the media, and they're currently in custody in the Manitowoc County Jail. When asking questions, we ask that you raise your hand and state your name and which news organization you are with.
Thank you all for being here this evening. My name is Ben Minard, BenMeInnert. I'm the chief of the Two Rivers Police Department. A child missing for any amount of time is everyone's worst nightmare. That's why we're here today. Elijah, a 3-year-old boy, has been missing now for a week today.
So sad.
For the past week, we've utilized hundreds of resources, worked around the clock in our attempts to bring Elijah home.
Ticket 40.
Right now, I'd like to bring everybody just up to speed with our search for Elijah and how that went.
I haven't watched this. Do we need a trigger warning or something? I'm not sure. I see people typing it in chat, but I don't know. Do we? I haven't watched it. I didn't even get to see the court hearing yesterday, so I don't. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so let me know.
Went. Elijah was reported a week ago today, like I said, around 11 a.m.
Okay,
in
Katrina.
the 3900 block of Mishkat Road here in Two Rivers. Everyone searched for Elijah on that day. And I mean everyone. Our police department, first responders responded out. It's not necessarily an unusual incident to have a missing child.
I mean,
Usually we find them right away.
it's a press conference.
Nearly immediately, we realized that we
I
needed
don't
more
think they're-
resources. Every officer, including myself, was out searching that day for Elijah. When we needed more help, we reached out to the fire department and our Department of Public Works. Soon after that, we got some information stating that Elijah may have gone missing at 8 a.m.
It's a press
When
conference.
we received that information, my assistant chief, Melissa Wiesner, she's a former lead investigator and she's worked many child cases. I entrusted her and I knew she had the wherewithal to reach out immediately to places like A Child is Missing, our National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. She put out numerous alerts, including missing and endangered alerts, Ring neighborhood alerts, and local emergency alerts. That included an Amber Alert. I know there's been some question about an Amber Alert on that day and why. This child was 3 years old and was reported missing on a cold winter temperature day.
Man,
with only
in
a
Wisconsin.
blanket and possibly light clothing.
In
And we knew at that
Wisconsin.
time, possibly 3 to 4 hours. I define that as endangered.
In Wisconsin.
I immediately reached out with the assistance of my staff to the Division of Criminal Investigation. This is not about me. This has always been about bringing Elijah home, and quickly. They led that investigation into his whereabouts with the support of our FBI. We also utilized almost any boat, UTV, drone, canine, and even National Guard helicopters to search for Elijah.
They have no idea.
Unfortunately, Elijah wasn't found.
They have no idea.
Following that day, we had a press conference.
Was this?
I know people were frustrated with that. I too was frustrated with that. We had a lot of misinformation going around on Facebook, through social media, and just in general. We felt it necessary that we had to lay out factual information of the case and bring everybody up to date to that point.
Oh, I've read the background, Leslie. I know
We
the
also
background
established
of
a
it.
tip line and got that out to the public at that time. That has
I-
been beneficial and crucial to this investigation and search.
I'm gonna let this finish first.
Since the
Trust me, I
conference,
know a lot more.
I have personally provided media releases daily, if not multiple times during the day, to bring our public up to date and remain transparent.
Thank you, Dre. Appreciate that. I just didn't
Those
see the court
leads,
hearing. I know
Those
everything else.
investigations, everything we've taken as tips have led to searching our neighborhoods, searching all our waterways, aerial and foot canvases, both urban and rural, throughout Manitowoc County and even beyond. We've searched Wisconsin landfills and quarries, and we've even had additional leads in Wisconsin Dells.
Yeah, we've covered this case already.
In addition to all those search efforts, I am aware of other investigations taking place. I can confirm Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer, is in jail on charges of child neglect and obstructing. Katrina's boyfriend, Jesse Bang, is in jail on charges of child neglect. And I do know that Elijah's father has also been incarcerated at Oshkosh Correctional Institute in unrelated matters since 2023. I also understand that the public would like more information on those first two individuals I mentioned. However, I'm unable to discuss those matters because it is an ongoing investigation and I don't want to jeopardize those cases. I want to thank the various local, state, federal agencies, as well as all our fire and EMS, and even those private resources that have helped along the way. Thank you to everyone in the community. They've provided food and drinks towards all these efforts. And thanks to all those private search efforts.
So he was
On
kidnapped.
Saturday, we announced a Crime Stoppers Award of $1,000
What's up,
for
Tiffany?
information leading to the location of Elijah, and have since provided other ways that people can donate here in the community.
No, I'm wondering if he's
Currently,
see. Listen, I've been hearing. Listen, we've covered this case. I know the stuff going on in the background. I just said I didn't see the court hearing, and I didn't see this press conference. Now I know that Jesse is claiming that he fell asleep, and the kid wandered off. And I'm probably, if you think about it, when you look at the location. Okay, you look at the location of where his shoes were found. You look at the shoes being, like they fell off, and this is one of the when we first came across this, when it was breaking last week. I think we started covering it the morning it happened. I think we did, didn't we? We've been covering it ever since the very beginning. So when you look at the location, right, of where it took place, this is one of the things that before there was discussion about a garbage can or any of that, and I really think that they were just doing that as trying to do everything they could. When we first seen them, they only had 10 people out there searching. To me, if you had definitive evidence that the child was out there, then you're not gonna have just 10 people there. You're not just gonna have 10 people there. So that's why from the get-go, when I saw they had a search team there, that's when I was like, no, there would be more of a presence. Okay. So, but when I'm first talking, right, it looks like the shoes were left there, because I bet you the child was there, and then, like I said, somebody grabbed him and ran off. Instead of running to this, they could have been driving down this road, right? They're driving down this road because look, there's not much. They're driving down this road, and all of a sudden they see this little kid out there wandering around by the tree, maybe sitting there next to the tree in his freaking blanket. And some person that came by hurried up, pulled over right here in front of this tree, ran out, grabbed him real quick, got him in the car, and then all of a sudden they took off. Because when you look at this location, right? Watch. It's a major road. Look. It's a major freaking road. So you could have been going up 147, Mishicot, Larry B, and then hit 43, and you're fucking golden. The more and more as stuff keeps coming out, yeah, the mom, I think it was the dude. I think there was definitely Ruggs involved for sure. And I think what happened is the dude, what's up, Tech Death? I think the dude was probably fucked up on something, passed out. The kid was able to because looks, even if he's 3, if that child is getting treated that way, he's trying to get the fuck out, right? So if he notices that, and then the dude forgot to shut the door. What if he just got a pizza from the pizza guy and forgot to lock the front door? And then next thing you know, the little kid finds a way to get out because he doesn't like getting treated the way he's getting treated. And next thing you know, he walks himself out. Because 3-year-olds are smart too. Walks himself out, and then he's sitting outside, with this blanket, sitting outside with this blanket. And then some person comes by, sees that there's a little kid out there with his blanket, and they just park real quick right in front of the damn tree. Boom. Off to the races. What's up, Ania's mom? Ticket 45. Thank you for hopping in. Yeah, they're all sketchy. It's it's a rug-filled town. You know what I'm saying? You heard the people talk about it. You heard the people talk about it. No, she probably had a hell of a time. Listen, when I was going to mail these hoodies, okay? I was going to mail the mods their hoodies, right? I went to mail them the hoodies yesterday morning, and there was a mom in there that had a kid. She was like, "Do you want to go to the zoo?" He's like, "Yes," but he would still be running around screaming, doing laps around the frickin', and then at one point he ran out the door and was running outside, and she was, you ain't gonna be able to do this if you don't be quiet. Stand up, stand right here, and then running around. Listen, maybe he had that much energy. Maybe he had that much energy, and she was the wrong way, thinking that it was going to be physical that was going to fix it, and that's not what fixes it. That's not what fixes it. What's up, Gemini? So she probably took here. I'm going to give him to this guy for a week because he needs to teach him how to settle down and listen, right? Because like I was at the mail office yesterday, that little kid wasn't listening. But the little kid had so much energy. You could tell little kid had so much energy, and he was so creative with the energy. He just didn't know how to channel it. You know what I mean? And some parents take that shit the wrong way. She could have took it the wrong way. Sent him to this dude's house because he wasn't listening, like the kid wasn't listening at the post office. You know what I'm saying? Oh, tough discipline, tough love. Go make him listen. What's up, Facts and Truth? Tough love's gonna, and then sends him there. Next thing you know, dude's probably fucking, if he enjoys that shit, because you look at his background, right? He probably enjoys punishing fucking children, right? So he's probably having a fucking good old time getting to be the big man that's fucking threatening a little 3-year-old fucking kid. And he's probably doing what the fuck ever, and he probably passed the fuck out. Passed the hell out. It's not the first time somebody's passed out that was watching a child and the child walked out the door. Unfortunately, when you listen to this press conference, to me it sounds like, come on, when you look at this road, they could have parked right there, snatched that kid, that's why his shoe was left there, grabbed him, put him in the car, and then next thing you know, they're heading out. They're on a major road already. Dude's heading north, getting to 43. Next thing you get to 43, you can go north or you can go fucking south. You can go north or you can go fucking south. It don't matter. And if you're kidnapping kids up in Wisconsin, I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, if you've ever been to Wisconsin, what's up in northern Wisconsin, everybody? Woods and cabins and, isolation. If you're a dude that lives there kidnapping kids, I wouldn't be surprised if your ass has a cabin that's out in the middle of fucking nowhere. You know what I mean? I hope that they find this child. I don't know. It's just with this press conference, it sounds like they just have no idea and they don't have any leads whatsoever. They just know how he was treated. They don't know anything else that happened after he walked out that door, I don't think.
We have those
those established as coming to our customer service here at City Hall, our police department, and I'm also working on establishing an online route for people to do so. When that becomes available, I will reach out to everybody and let you know. Today, the FBI
Cold baths.
has
Jeez.
now provided an additional reward up to $15,000 for information leading to the location and return of Elijah Vue and or the arrest and conviction of any individual or individuals responsible or involved with his disappearance. We have posters here that state just that. In addition to all those search efforts, Elijah Vue's family has been coordinating their own search efforts throughout Manitowoc County. They're here today and they'd like to provide a statement. I'd like to bring those members of Elijah's family out to make those statements for you.
What's up, John Morgan? Thank you for hopping in.
On behalf of my family, we stand before you today with heavy hearts burdened by an unimaginable situation. The pain is indescribable, a torment no family or child should ever face. We cannot express the depth of our sorrow.
Right.
Nor the desperation that consumes us as each moment passes without
What's up, Crafts and
moving
Crime?
Elijah's safety. To anyone who may have information about Elijah's whereabouts, we plead with you to please come forward. Your courage, your compassion, your willingness to speak up may hold the key to Elijah's safe return. Every piece of information will help bring us one step closer to bring Elijah back to our family where he belongs. To those who may have information, your assistance is just not a contribution, but a lifeline of hope. Elijah is a joyful and curious boy, full of life and love. He is a precious child who deserves every chance of happiness, and his absence is deeply felt by all who know and love him.
So sad.
Every day without him feels like a piece of our hearts is missing.
I bet.
We long to hear his laughter, to witness his curiosity, and to feel the warmth of his embrace. The emptiness left in his absence is a void that cannot be filled by anything else. Elijah, if you can hear us, know that you are deeply missed and loved, and we will not rest until you are safely back.
Aww.
Lastly, we want to express our deepest gratitude to law enforcement, government agency, and all involved in the search operation. The support of the community.
I hope they could hear him, you know? I hope he could hear them. What's up, Pebbles?
Showing through
I hope he could hear them.
And so much more.
Aw.
We thank each and every one of you for your role in our search for Elijah. Please keep Elijah in your thoughts and prayers. And if you have any information, please come forward.
Right.
We believe that with the help of the community, we can bring Elijah back home together. Thank you.
I hope he did hear them. I hope he did. I feel like he was kidnapped. I don't know. It's just what it says.
English is not good. So, I want everybody to be patient with me. So, I just try that I can. So, right now, I would like to thank you for everybody to help my family to search for my grandson whole week to today. So,
these sick fuckers, you know? These sick fuckers out there, man.
So,
Mm.
and I want to thank you for the officer, for all the fire department people, all the people living in 2 cities here. help us to search for our grandson, our baby for 1 week right now. So, yeah, really thank you for everybody so far right now. So I want everybody
Ticket
to
49, golden ticket. Thank you, Mary.
continue to help us to look for my grandson. I want my grandson to be home with my family.
Aw.
So
I
want
hope he
everybody
hears
to
you.
Continue. Don't stop. Just searching for my baby Elijah. We
I
want
hope he hears
him
her.
to be safe and with my family. And we love my grandson.
Ticket 48. Thank you, Pebbles. Thank you. Come on, cameraman. There you go.
I'd like to thank the Vue family for being here.
All these,
Time for
all the
some
loved
questions.
ones,
As
you
the
know.
sheriff announced
It's
earlier, I won't be able to talk about the investigation of the case, but I will answer whatever questions I can.
Chief Evelyn Jessica from Fox 11. When was the last time someone other than Jesse Bang saw Elijah?
good question.
The last time he was seen by someone other than someone who's arrested.
Right, we
Good
got that
question.
a lot. I appreciate that question.
Good.
What I will say is the reason that we've been seeking out to the public to request all the information that we are is
Okay.
because we are following up on every lead, tip, etc. And that is one of those things. You know, we want to know every time, anytime that Elijah was seen.
She asked
So we
who?
will continue to follow up on all leads, any leads, and that's what's leading us into the locations that we've been.
Can you just, what was the most recent, I guess, before he disappeared?
Right.
Comment directly on the
So say
investigation,
that.
But I can tell you that we are following up on all those.
So say that.
Chief Bria Jones,
So
Fox
say
6.
that.
Have you all
Hang on,
received
just a second. Rita, go
Bria
ahead
Jones,
first.
Fox 6, Milwaukee? Have you all received any information that indicates that Elijah is still alive, whether that be any surveillance or ring camera?
They have no idea.
I'm not going to speculate on anything at this point, but what I will say is all our efforts are for bringing home Elijah safe. I believe that all our efforts thus far have done just that. We've reached out to hundreds and hundreds of resources over this week's time span, and they're all dedicated to bringing him home, and we'll continue to follow up on any leads to do so.
Chief Eloisa Bryson, well, do police believe Elijah left that residence on his own?
Again, I can't speculate. I will say that, again, when we're talking about the Amber Alert that we put out, people wanted me to speculate on an abduction versus endangered. At this point, what I do know is a child was missing in cold temperatures, winter temperatures, in relatively little.
Let's
clothing.
hope that house has ring
That's what we're
camera.
searching for, and we'll continue to search for until I get.
Because I'm going to show you why after this conference is done. Hopefully, that house does
I
have
can't
ring
comment
camera.
directly on that. What I will say is, if that is,
I'll
in
show
fact
you
the
why.
case, I know that we have DCI agents, FBI agents, and local police doing just that because we're following up on all tips, any tips that relate to Elijah Vue and his return.
Chief Jeremy Posolapos, NBC 26, you mentioned that there are search efforts in other parts of the state. Can you speak to what those have included? You mentioned here we've been searching
North?
landfills and waterways.
North?
You said that there have been searches going on in Wisconsin Dells. What have those looked like?
Wisconsin
Well,
Dells.
I think what I can tell you is that you've seen and you guys have been broadcasting searches of landfills, searches of our waterways. We know that people have been out into the Dells. Those are all things that we're
What's
following
the
up on leads on.
What's the Wisconsin Dells? Is that like a
Unturned. We're going to follow up on those leads because ultimately our goal is, again, we want to bring Elijah.
What's the
home.
Wisconsin
So it doesn't matter
Dells?
how
I've heard
small
that before.
lead
What
or
is that?
may be. Please bring that to us. Contact our tip line because we will get people out there to follow up on any lead whatsoever. I think we're going to go back over here because he was asking earlier.
You had spoke about misinformation before. How does misinformation spread, specifically in this case on Facebook,
Theme park.
hinder this specific investigation?
That's what I thought.
And then just an investigation in general.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The misinformation on Facebook, how does that hinder an investigation? This one specifically, and just in general.
That in particular doesn't necessarily hinder the investigation. What it does is it hinders all the efforts within the community. Because again, our primary efforts here are to bring Elijah home safe. And if the
Yeah.
public's getting misinformation, that's going to lead them awry. I want them to know the facts. Our department takes pride.
Lead 'em awry. They
in being
can't-
transparent here in Two Rivers, and that's why I'm putting out all these news releases. That's why I'm having a news conference with you today, is because I want the public to know the facts, just the facts, and be up to date with those facts so they can continue their own searches. We're appreciative of those. I'm also appreciative of all the resources that we're focusing on throughout Manitowoc and beyond.
Chief, can you talk about the toll this has taken on your
I'm sorry,
department?
can we take another question over here? I'd like to spread this around.
Samantha Foley, WBAY News. Have you been able to find any items that Elijah was last wearing? We have video of people collecting evidence, potentially might be that dinosaur shoe that was missing.
Right. I can't comment on exactly what has been taken or would not be taken. I don't know the investigation issues there as far as how that plays out. What I
Pebbles.
do know is that we're continuing to search for any of those items that you're talking about. So basically, you guys have all seen the photo of Elijah. We've mentioned that he may have had dinosaur print shoes, a red plaid blanket, and the clothing description. We are still looking for anybody that has tips on any of that stuff, because we will follow up on it and we will try to figure out if it is related to Elijah.
That's why I think he was grabbed and kidnapped because of the shoe.
Last question.
The shoe tells me kidnapped.
A week after he's gone missing, how confident are you that Elijah is still? Again, I'm not going to speculate.
Why would you ask that question, man? Come on, reporter.
Everything in our efforts, believing that
Dude, that is so disrespectful.
That's what we're searching for. And
that is so disrespectful. Who the fuck is that? Next time I hear his name, I'm going to skip his question in the next press conference.
It has tips on any of that stuff, because
that is so disrespectful. And the fucking family's sitting there hearing this question. Not this one.
Sir, can we go here? Last question.
This guy. Somebody from Local 5 News. Who the fuck are you? Hold on a minute. And the family's there hearing that shit.
We will try to figure out if it is related to Elijah Boo.
Where do you go from here? Is there still?
I'm sorry. Can we go here? Last question.
I can't make out the fucking name, but he's from Local 5 News. Chief.
I'm sorry. Can we go here? Last question.
Maniro no I don't know what the fuck his name is. This is such a disrespectful I can't dude, I wouldn't even answered that question, man. I would have called him out. I would have said, you know what? That's such a disrespectful question. Next. Fucking disrespect. How confident are you that he's still alive? What the
What I'm going to do is continue to search for Elijah.
No, mister. You should have said, that's a very disrespectful question.
We will find him and we will bring
Next.
That's what we're searching for.
Let him sit in his fucking piss.
Anybody in the community,
Let him sit in his fucking piss for doing that shit.
Two Rivers, this is abroad. So even outside of the Two Rivers community, I ask everybody in the state and beyond, really
What a
just
dick.
start looking at your property. That's what you can do as a person, not right here physically.
Wow.
If you're looking for something to do, first check your property, then get involved in some of these other search efforts. That would help us a great deal. And again, reach out to that tip line, come back to us.
What kind of
and
question
provide us
is
with any tips,
that?
and we will follow up on them.
Right in front of the family.
I'm sorry.
Is anyone else involved in this disgrace?
What
kind of question is that, man? Local 5 News, whoever that
was
was.
the last question. I will just close with, I'd like to thank you, everyone, for being here today. You've heard pleas from the family now. We echo those same pleas. Since our number one, our priority has always
It's
been
so
at the
disrespectful.
beginning to bring Elijah home. I'm asking everyone to continue in their searches, continue to contact our tip line, report anything at all that you feel may help us bring Elijah home. Everyone has been affected by this deal, this incident a great deal. This is a close-knit Two Rivers community. We're all devastated. We want answers. You want answers. I know efforts of our city staff, our citizens, and those beyond our city limits are going to continue to work together, and we'll bring Elijah home. Thank you.
So that is the end of our press conference.
Whoa, where'd the audio?
Again, we're making that plea out to the public.
I can't believe
Everybody
that
see
guy.
kid's photo. It's pulling at everybody's heartstrings. We need to find them. Somebody knows something.
Yeah, somebody knows something.
Just want to remind everyone, tip line, state tip line, we've received hundreds and hundreds of tips that DCI agents are following up on, FBI agents are following up on, and local law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
That tip line is 844-267-6648. And as a reminder again, as Chief reiterated, there's a $1,000 reward out from our local crime.
Come on, it should be more than $1,000, man. This is 2024.
Elijah, and now the FBI has stepped up their ball game, which we have.
It should be $1,000, a fucking grand.
Anyone that has information leading to his recovery, and
yeah, for less than the for less than the amount of a big screen TV. What the hell is that? $1,000?
Arrest and prosecution.
$1,500? Okay, where's this 1,000 he's talking about? Where's this 1,000 he's talking about? What the hell? I hope they did. This is from just a little bit ago. My gosh, I don't know that dude. It's been a week. It's been a week since he's been missing. What do you think the chances are that he's still alive? And the grandma and the family sitting. Can you imagine what they did? Can you imagine the one question that family's going to be rehashing over and over and over in their head when they go home in the days to come? Is that asshole ask? I mean, yeah, it's real life, but at the same time, do you think law enforcement's going to go, you know what, sir? We don't think so. Like, really? Give me a break. It's like some of these people that are put in these positions to ask these questions don't fucking understand how life works. There's a way to fucking be and a way not to be. Jeez.
Two individuals should not be allowed to walk freely amongst us until we find.
We're going to switch to another one after this. We're going to play this Law and Crime that just came out a little bit ago, too. Look at that. What a cute picture. You know what I'm saying? His little flannel and shit. Somebody knows something. Hopefully.
And we're alive at it.
It's now been 1 week since anyone's seen or heard from this Wisconsin toddler. Now his mother and her boyfriend face charges of child neglect. And with days spent in the frigid Wisconsin weather, it's unclear whether the boy
Well, I'm glad they
alive.
raised it. I'm
Being
glad
that
they
it's
raised
been a week, it is Wisconsin. If he is out in the cold, it's unlikely that he survived. It's coming down to a recovery operation.
This is 3-year-old Elijah Vue. He was last seen on Tuesday, February 20th in Two Rivers, Wisconsin, about 30 minutes south of Green Bay. According to a criminal complaint, Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer, had dropped him off with her boyfriend, Jesse Vang. Court documents detail gruesome accusations of abuse at the hands of Vang, who was labeled as the disciplinarian in Elijah's life. Vang allegedly told investigators, quote, "He has been trying to help Bauer correct victims' bad behavior." Vang also
just as a heads up, this part might be covering some of those topics. So there's a warning, graphic content up in the top. I'm sure they're going to go into some of these documents and they're going to discuss it. If it is going to be triggering for you, just hit mute. And when you see the live pop back up at the top right of the screen, you'll be good to unmute it so you can still hang out and chit chat with everybody.
told investigators he'd been watching Elijah for about a month, but not consistently. Retired FBI agent Colin Schmidt, who worked out of Wisconsin while he was still in the field, says Elijah's case echoes one he'd previously worked in the Badger State.
Well, it reminds me of one of the cases I worked on when I was an FBI agent in Milwaukee as a very young new agent, where we had to work a kidnapping, and it ended up being the boyfriend of the mother who had kidnapped and sexually assaulted the child. And then as a team, we ended up finding the deceased child out in the woods frankly was in that same area as well. So when I was reading this article, it was very disturbing, and it was kind of hard to get through the article because it brought back some memories of working that case, and as well as the fact that I'm a father of 4 children, and it just boggles my mind on how anybody could be that cruel to another human being, especially a child.
According to the criminal complaint, Vang, quote, stated that victim is afraid of him, then corrected himself and stated that he respects me. Vang stated that they put Elijah with him as a punishment for his bad behavior. Vang indicated that he is trying to make him understand that going home is like a privilege for him. And according to the criminal complaint and all of the research, she dropped off her son with her boyfriend, hoping that he would make Elijah, this 3-year-old, a man. That's what she said. That was a direct quote from the criminal complaint. She wanted him to be a man. She wanted him to be disciplined. So I guess, does that make the mom even more culpable because she willingly turned over her child to this abuse?
Absolutely. It comes down to knowledge and intent. I'm sure she knew of Jesse's violent behavior. And then when she makes a statement like that, wants him to be a man, that's intent. That shows intent to have Jesse do harm to the child, quite frankly, in my opinion. So absolutely, she was aware of what was going on based upon those statements, and she is just as culpable as he is in the harm that came down on this child.
But before any charges were brought against Bauer or Vang, Elijah disappeared. According to Vang, he woke up at about 7:30 the morning of February 20th. After taking his son to the bus, he and Elijah went into the bedroom where Elijah was, quote, told to stand and pray near the foot of Vang's bed. He did not change the toddler's diaper as he was too tired. Elijah was not allowed to do fun things as he was in a timeout. Vang says he fell asleep at about 8 o'clock and woke up again at 11. By then, Elijah had disappeared. That's when Vang says he called the authorities. Court documents state that while Vang was sleeping, he would, quote, lock the door to the apartment at the doorknob, deadbolt, and with a security chain attached at the top of the door to keep victim from walking out of the apartment. I mean, what do you make of all of this? How would a 3-year-old be able to unlock a deadbolt? Does all of that add up?
Well, it comes down to how tall is the 3-year-old, number one. Is it logical to do any of those things? When they did the investigation, they're going to be able to tell a lot of those things, whether they're, verifiable lies, whether the lock was actually locked, what was the state of the house was in when the investigators got there. They're going to be taking pictures, and then it's going to come down to does this all make sense? And did the child have a history of unlocking doors and leaving? My little guy, who's now 13, he would do that. He would go and open the door and go on a little walk of the neighborhood. So we ended up putting a deadbolt that he could not reach.
Right.
And obviously that stopped the behavior. But did this child have a pattern of that kind of conduct?
That's what I'm saying.
He says it's possible Elijah didn't just up and run away. He says Vang is likely behind the boy's disappearance. In your expert opinion, what do you think happened to Elijah Vue?
I think that Elijah pushed back. Jesse lost his temper and harmed the child. Likely may have killed the child, and then he had to figure out where to dump the body. And then obviously law enforcement found out the child's been missing for a week, and so now the search is on to find this child, and hopefully the child is alive, but the likelihood of that is very, very, very low.
An Amber Alert was put out last week when Elijah was reported missing, but still, there's no sign of the boy. We're in February in Wisconsin, very chilly temperatures out there, and Two Rivers is right along Lake Michigan. So I know that dive teams from across the area have been around to try to kind of search and maybe find something. What are the odds that he's actually still alive out there?
Unfortunately, it's extremely low. A week, generally after the first 24 hours, the likelihood of finding a person that's alive goes down dramatically. So that's why we always talk about the first 24 hours, get out, see where they're going, because a human being in those kind of conditions, an adult human being, is only going to be able to survive perhaps a day or two unless they have the proper attire and food and water and all those things. And this is a 3-year-old child who, if they did walk out.
That's why I think he was kidnapped, because I think even with the minimal leads, I think with all the efforts they've been doing, they would have if he did walk off, right? If he did walk off, I don't know. It just, the more and more, it just sounds like it was a kidnapping.
Of the door, they likely walked out without a coat, without the gloves, without
He had a
all
blanket.
the proper protective gear.
Volunteers in the
they took
community
him.
still haven't given up hope. As recently as this week, search parties for Elijah continue, as does law enforcement's investigation. How would the investigation look now, a week out?
Oh, big time.
Well, they're going to be
It's
doing basically the same things that they were doing at the beginning, which is canvassing the areas, looking for digital clues off of his phone, her phone, talking to all of his acquaintances, neighbors, anybody that and anything that can give them a clue on where this child might be. Once again, we've talked many times on the show that his phone is going to be likely the best option as far as finding the child, because it appears that he's the number one suspect of what harm may have occurred to this child.
When investigators spoke to Vang and Bauer, they allegedly admitted to abusing Elijah and even gave specific examples. They allegedly referred to the discipline as timeouts, but compared them to boot camp. This included making Elijah stand for up to 3 hours at a time and repeatedly chant, "I'm sorry, mommy." Vang also threatened Elijah with cold water, something he knew the boy was afraid of.
It's sadistic would probably be the only word that comes to mind that describes this behavior. Like I said, as a father, I just cannot fathom the depths of cruelty that this person was accused of doing. Now, I don't know for sure, just it's based upon press reports, but obviously they wouldn't charge him with those things if they didn't have a shred of truth in any of that. And frankly, if there is a shred of truth of any of that behavior,
right,
that is just appalling that
it is.
Any person would do that to a child.
Yeah.
It's just, it appears that he was a sick individual himself. There's an old saying, hurt people. So if you looked into his history, he probably was a victim of child abuse. It gives no excuse for that behavior. And then when I hear a dad say, well, I'm too tired to change a diaper. I had twins. I was changing diapers all at the same time over and over again. So, to something like that, I would say, obviously, suck it up, Buttercup. What are you doing? You can't step up and do the right thing. So it's obviously that household was full of true mental health issues. And unfortunately, the child bared the brunt of all the sickness that was in those two adults.
Vang was ultimately charged with child neglect and being party to a crime. Bauer faces the same charges along with 2 additional counts of resisting or obstructing an officer for allegedly lying about her whereabouts. She allegedly told investigators she had not been in the Manitowoc area on February 16th and 17th, 2024. But after voluntarily turning her phone over to law enforcement, police say they found she was in the area. Investigators also noted texts between Vang and Bauer, quote, where Vang tells Bauer that he is angry that victim overfilled his diaper with poop and pee and that Vang gave victim a cold shower. Vang noted that victim was clean but scared. Why might she lie about her location?
Well, it's obviously she just wants to get herself out of trouble. She wants to lie so they can't pin something on her. And then she got caught because data doesn't lie. People lie, but data is data. And that's why law enforcement loves data, especially the data that's off the cell phone, because it tells the entire story.
Right.
95% of the time, is as long as the investigators have the sophistication to get that data and look and find that location data. It really is the unicorn, so to speak, of law enforcement, and it really makes so many cases. But back to your question, yeah, she was just trying to lie to get out of trouble. She doesn't appear to be very sophisticated.
As for Vang, there's a long criminal history dating back to 2002 with multiple convictions, including criminal damage to property, intentional child abuse, battery by a prisoner, and possession of cocaine. And one of my contacts was a former police officer in Manitowoc, the county where this happened, and he lives in Two Rivers now where this actually happened. So I reached out and asked him, what do you know about the case? And he worked in Manitowoc for decades and says he remembers the name Jesse Vang, that he had been arrested multiple times, that he ran with a bad crowd. So this person was already on law enforcement's radar. I guess, would we expect something like this out of a person like that?
Well, You'd have to say a pattern is human beings are all going to fall into a pattern one way or the other, a good pattern or a bad pattern. And then if they're not in that pattern, there has to be some sort of catalyst that pulls them out of the pattern.
History
If you
repeats
already
it,
had
though.
a history of misconduct
Yeah.
and antisocial behavior, absolutely, that's going to lead to a greater level of violence until there's some outside catalyst, being it law enforcement most likely, to stop that behavior and place him in a prison where he can no longer do antisocial things and harm people. So from what you just said, it sounds like he had a pattern of violent behavior or criminal conduct, antisocial behavior, and it ended up culminating on this poor child who was victimized over and over again. And it just breaks my heart to read a story like this.
Both Bauer and Vang appeared in court on Monday of this week, where they waived the reading of the criminal complaint and scheduled a preliminary hearing.
In state of Wisconsin versus Jesse Vang, 24 CF 162, appearances in the courtroom.
State appears by Jacqueline Labrie.
Mr. Vang appears in custody with attorney Heather Fay. This is a special appearance. Counsel has not yet been appointed.
The hearings lasted less than 20 minutes total.
Wow,
but Elijah's
Katrina.
uncle, Orson Vue, made a compelling statement via Zoom.
Your Honor,
Wow.
our family would like to ask that the court does not allow or change any bail or bond amount, and have these two individuals held fully accountable for their actions or lack thereof. After reading just a few things from the criminal complaint, these two individuals should not be allowed to walk freely amongst us until we find where Elijah is.
Bauer is being held on $15,000 bond, while Vang is being held on $20,000. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for March 7th. And now we have these two defendants who are being held in jail. They have a preliminary hearing coming up. I mean, they're already going through the court system. What is next for the investigation?
Wow, that's
Will
crazy,
any of
Katrina.
the area investigators come and speak to them again to try to learn more about potentially the little boy's whereabouts? What's next with all of that?
Well, harking back to the time that case I worked on, we interviewed the boyfriend multiple times, and then after we found that the dead child, he ended up giving it up, so to speak, and confessing to his crimes. So if this Jesse, for example, is lawyered up, if it had not lawyered up, they're going to continue talking to him and use all the techniques in the toolbox to try to get him to tell the whole story. If he does get a lawyer, they're going to go to that lawyer and say, look, we got to get your client to
What's
talk.
up, no
It's not
shenanigans?
about him anymore. It's about a child. So the cops are going to continue
Yeah, it's got to be
make
cash.
any effort to get information out of Jesse and the mother.
Yep.
In the meantime, they'll be watching the phone calls, the who's visiting him, basically watching him around the clock to see if he gives any idea where this child might be.
But Schmidt says investigators could know more than they're letting on. Is it possible that they actually believe the boy is already dead and he's been murdered?
Well, it's possible. It comes down to the investigation. So based upon what the article said about the cruelty that was being enacted on the child, it's highly probable that the child pushed back, and that the adult male in this situation
Went way
lashed
too
out
far.
and harm came to that child. So
Went way
now
too far.
it's being that it's been a week, it is Wisconsin. If he is out in the cold, it's unlikely that he survived. It's coming down.
Did the mom take him somewhere? That's what I'm wondering. If that took place, did the mom take him
To a
somewhere?
recovery operation.
Let's say he's never found, no remains or body are ever discovered. Is it still
Man.
possible that a murder charge could be brought on?
That's a good
Yeah,
question.
it's possible, but generally speaking, law enforcement, or I'm sorry, district attorneys don't like to charge without a body, because the body is the ultimate victim. You have to have a victim generally when you have a crime, but they can charge without a body. And it sounds like a case like this, because it is a child, they likely would, because of the abhorrent circumstances that are around this situation.
Schmidt says Northeast Wisconsin has a strong sense of community that has likely banded together in the search for Elijah.
Well, it's a hunting community, so everybody's going to have dogs, and dogs find things like you wouldn't believe. So specifically, it's basically obvious they're going to be looking for clothing, shoes, if he had a backpack, anything along those lines, and then obviously the body itself. So the hunting community up there is likely, knowing Wisconsin, they're all banding together and they're out there searching and going everywhere. And unfortunately, it'll likely be some deer hunter that comes across this body, when they're out on a hunt. And it just, I wish, this kind of stuff didn't happen, but unfortunately in society it does.
That's true. I want to share this again. We're going to switch to Audrey's case now. Shout out Kay Miller. Thanks for dropping this in Discord, and it'll definitely help. And when it comes to the search, I wanted to share this as well. A little flyer that was put up. I just wanted to display that here for a minute. So damn sad. So hopefully the search turns up with a child that's alive. I don't know. They got to know something, because look, when you're talking, this house right here has a Ring camera, okay? Just like AG and Crime Lies pointed out. All right, so when you're looking at here, there's a Ring camera on that door right above the finger. Okay. Now, with me being lined almost, it's as straight as I can line up with that camera. Okay. I'm hoping either this, but this is what I'm really hoping, and this is what I want to show you guys. If somebody did pull over and stop and grab him, I want you to see something. It should have been caught on this Ring cam. The quality, who knows what the quality is, because it's a Ring cam. There's a lot of stuff in between, right? But I want you guys to pay attention, because when I'm talking about him possibly being abducted like that, watch. So you have this part. This is going to be part of the view of the Ring cam, right? It's going to be small. It's going to be like that. But pay attention to that small tree, because that's going to show you a lot, okay? Pay attention to that small tree. Okay. It should pick up anybody that was parked right in this area or this area right here. It should have picked up anybody that would have pulled up and snatched this kid. Now, I think, I don't know for sure, but I think that there's a Ring camera on this house too, right there. So, right there, I think that's a Ring camera. And so, if so, then that should have the whole view if he was snatched or put in that. Snatched. It should have some kind of view. Now, unfortunately, with either camera, it's not going to show the corner of where Elijah's shoe was found. But I wanted to point that out to you guys, that you pay attention to this small tree right here, because look, it shows you. See, you can see the front door. Okay. If they did, somebody parked in this area to kidnap this kid, that should be on this Ring cam. It may not be the greatest, but it should show something. So, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of different possibilities for sure. Unfortunately. I just hope they find him. All right, we're going to switch to Audrey's case. Now, this is Nancy Grace discussing The case, this came out 4 hours ago. The mom speaks out on this episode, and then they discuss the perp being naked in court. And it's like, what the hell? All of a sudden, it's like this brand new news. It's like, what? He was naked in court. I want to say shout out to the community for sending us the link last week, middle of last week, when we were discussing that case. I can't remember who sent it to me, but I want to say thank you, because it was because of you. We actually witnessed that, I guess, a couple days earlier than everybody else. So shout out to the community.
In the last hours, the freak that police say attacked, murdered, and I believe molested a little 11-year-old girl, Audrii Cunningham, refuses to put on a pair of pants to appear in front of the judge. So if he's going to act like that to a judge with complete disdain and disrespect, how do you think he treated an 11-year-old little girl?
Oh, I know. Trust me. I know. But Nancy has, when it comes to these children's cases here, she's been coming out with some really interesting stuff. And also, there's been a couple times that she's actually had some breaking news. The ring cam should pick up shadows and movements, which would be crucial in the case. Ring cameras just don't allow. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be clear, but it's going to show there was a kidnapping. You know what I mean? Like, you could look at it, you could zoom it up as an investigator, and you could see the shadows and movement, put 2 and 2 together. Thank you for hopping in, Angie. Appreciate that.
Girl behind closed doors. This guy had full access to the home of an 11-year-old girl, a guy with a very lengthy rap sheet, including, boy, this is like putting perfume on the pig, enticing a child, another little girl.
Mm-hmm.
He got into bed with her and wrestled off her underwear and PJs. He had access to her home too. And now Audrii is dead. This guy, in the last hours, we learned, will not even put on his clothes to come before a judge.
Learned in the last hours.
Also learn.
Damn, shout out community. I didn't realize that we were that early on that shit happening. I just didn't want to make a highlight out of it because I was like, the dude's fucking naked. I don't care to make a highlight out of it. I didn't know it would be this shocking fucking news for everybody the last day. What the hell?
Man, this guy's, he should win the Oscar.
That's why I didn't make it. I'm like,
managed to put on quite the show.
why am I going to glorify
door
somebody
to
being
door,
naked
knocking
in
on
court?
doors,
You know, like,
saying, "Have you
to
seen
the
Audrii?
officer.
I'm looking for Audrii," knowing
Oh.
full well, according to police, that he had murdered her by blunt force trauma to her head. Her pants found far away from her body at the river's edge. Her body tied to a rock by a rope. And according to Tim Miller from EquiSearch, her body was caught in an eddy, just swirling round and round and round and round. Yeah, him. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Crime Stories and on SiriusXM 111. Before I address McDougal butt naked, wearing nothing but all of his hate tattoos, to go in front of a judge like that, and they try to get him to get dressed, he won't do it. That said, before I get to a naked McDougal going door to door, hey, have you seen Audrii? Knowing all the while he killed her? Before we get into that, Liz, please turn on Audrii's mom, Miss Matthews, sound so she can hear me now. Joining me right now is Audrii's mother. There's been a lot of speculation about her. A lot of mean things have been said about her online. I want you to meet Cassie Matthews. Miss Matthews, thank you for being with us. We've heard a lot from Audrii's grandparents, with whom this sweet little girl was living, with a child sex offender in the backyard. We've heard a lot from them. But, you know, I knew it all about suffering, about grieving, about mourning. After my fiance was murdered, when I gave birth to the twins, I found out I don't know anything. And Miss Matthews, I can't tell you how much we've been praying for you and how sorry we are. And I know that means nothing. I almost hate to even say it. But I want you to know our whole staff has been thinking about you and praying. And I want to thank you for being with us right now.
Yes, ma'am. I want to do everything that I can for my baby.
Everyone joining me is Cassie Matthews. This is little Audrii Cunningham's mother. Audrii, 11 years old when she was killed. Audrii, when I look at her, Miss Cassie, is just so full of joy and life. I'm looking at a picture of her now with a little white t-shirt on with the blue sundress over it. And now she's got on a little black t-shirt and looks like a little pocketbook strapped over her shoulder. She's just so precious and looks so well taken care of. How in the hay do you believe this happened, Miss Matthews?
I don't understand how it happened at all. I don't understand how they put so much effort into keeping her from me, but they couldn't put the same effort into knowing the people that they had around her.
And it is disgusting. I'm not going to play the latest video that came out earlier today of when she got soap in her eyes. So please don't ask me to, because I'm not going to do it. And to sit there and see that I've been reading, I'm not even going to share it. I was reading the text messages that have been coming out, the emails and text messages between the family and this mother right here and the way that they were treating her. We're not going to go through them tonight. But if you come across the video where you see something about soap in her eyes with her, I believe it's her father, just delete it. I don't even know why it's being shared. I don't even know why it's being shared. So shame on to the person that is sharing that shit too. I've been warned. I'm warning you guys. Okay. I've been warned. Okay. And I was reached out and they said, hey, don't even, you're going to come across this. Don't even. And I was like, why? Why should I? Why? What's going on? And they said this and this. And I said, I'm letting you guys know. Don't even.
What happened
Don't even.
when you discovered
Don't
that
even.
Audrii was missing? How did you find that out? Or did you know that before you found out that she had been killed?
100, Angie.
So it was Thursday evening. I'm going to say it was like 7 o'clock.
What's up, Natalie?
Tabitha herself had gone and contacted.
Yeah, because Nancy probably saw the shit that I saw this morning when it comes to the messages, the shit that I saw last night with the messages and the emails and how they were treating her and what they're like. It's crazy. It's crazy. The fucking what the family was doing to this mother. And then a little after noon, someone said, hey, there's something circulating out there. I just want to give you a heads up. I was like, what do I need a heads up for? I've seen a lot of shit in my life, you know? What do I need a heads up for? And they said, no, it ain't like that. And I said, oh. They said, it's like this. I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Let me let my community know, too. Disgusting shit, people.
How they put so much effort
Don't even do
into
it.
keeping her from me, but they couldn't put the same effort into knowing the people that they had around her.
Yes, it's ridiculous when you see the messages.
Miss Matthews,
We'll go through them on another
what
show.
happened when you discovered that Audrii was
It's horrible.
missing? How did you find that out? Or did you know that before you found out that she had been killed?
So it was Thursday evening. I'm going to say it was like 7 o'clock. Tabitha herself had gone and contacted or went to the home of my fiance's mother and was asking her if she knew.
Oh,
where
it's
we were,
worse,
if we were
Tiffany.
there, and had said Audrii was missing. Now his mother instantly calls him.
It's worse. And the fact that it was recorded for somebody to say, don't check out this video. Yeah, it's worse than
Him, of course.
to be on
and
social media too. It's gross.
She makes her get on the phone with me, and she's telling me that she's missing and asking me if I had seen her. And of course, no, I haven't seen her. I honestly wanted to ask her if it was a sick joke, but I didn't. And I'm used to a lot of crazy things from that family. So when she said no, she's missing.
So, Cassie, you said that the paternal grandmother, Tabitha, went knocking at your fiance's mom's door looking for Audrii. Did they call you immediately?
Of course, my fiance's mom called him instantly, and she told him that I needed to be on the phone ASAP, and then she put Tabitha on the phone and made her talk to me.
Why didn't she want? I mean, I would think she would have called you first. Had they been blocking you seeing Audrii?
Yeah.
I haven't had any type of contact.
Because you know why? Because they knew damn well that if Audrii was telling her mom about all the shit that was going on at home, they knew they'd all be in fucking trouble. That's why. So they turned it around on her to deflect it on her to make it seem like it was her so they could keep doing the sick ass fucking shit that they were doing. Pieces of shit.
I had the last bit of contact that I had with Josh where I was once again begging to see my daughter in any way that made him or her comfortable, whatever I needed to do. I had to do that through my fiance's messenger.
So the grandma shows up at your fiance's mom's place looking for Audrii. Then your fiance's mom has her call you. And what did she say?
She tells me that she's missing. She didn't make it home off the bus. Asked me if I had seen her, which that's a crazy question because you haven't allowed me to see her in so long. And after that, I had told her about how Stephen had messaged me strangely out of the blue the night before, and that I would share the messages with her. And then I asked her where Stephen was, and she went from a...
Are you referring to the defendant, the murder defendant, Don Stephen McDougal, age 42? Is that who you're referring to?
Yes, that's who I'm referring to.
When they asked where's Audrii, what did you say?
Where in the hell's my daughter?
I, of course, told them I haven't seen her. And in my mind, I wanted to snap and tell her, of course I haven't seen her. You and your son haven't let me see my daughter in how long now? But I didn't because I instantly wanted to know where my daughter was. That was the thing that took over.
You also asked the grandma Where is Stephen? And we know
Yes,
that to
I
be
did.
Stephen McDougal.
I had told her about
Why?
him messaging me. I had told her about him messaging me out of the blue the night before, and told her that he had said to me that he was going to take her to school that morning. And I asked her where he was and had she seen him. And she went from hysterical to stuttering. I gotta go.
You told me earlier she went from calm to hysterical.
No. She went from hysterical to stuttering, and she had to go.
Oh, as soon as she realized that Stephen McDougal had been with Audrii, she had to go and hung up the phone.
It was her stuttering the word she didn't have anything else to say other than I gotta go.
Yep.
Now in the 911 call, you can clearly hear him in the background.
Guys, we are speaking with Cassie Matthews.
Yep.
This is Audrii Cunningham's mother. What happened after that? After she...
Yeah, because he came back blaming the mom for stealing the daughter. That's why. And then the mom was like, well, we had a conversation the night before. The grandma didn't know about that. Stephen McDougal came back and told grandma, I dropped her off, but she didn't get on the bus. Just like he told the cops. I dropped her off at the bus stop. It had to have been, maybe it was the mom. And then when the grandma found out, oh shit, so Stephen McDougal was text. Hold on, I bet you when she hung up that phone, where in the hell's my granddaughter, Stephen? And she probably already knew at that point. Sad.
He hangs up. What do you do?
Do better.
I'm about to melt down. I hit my knees.
Right, Mary?
I prayed. My fiance is.
I know
sitting
all
there
too
trying to
well.
comfort me, but I didn't even want him to touch me. I didn't understand what was going on. I'm
My ex got arrested
pacing,
6 damn
a
times
rut in my
while I was
house,
in court getting full
just
custody.
wondering where she could be, where I could look, what I could do. I'm waiting for the officers. When officers finally showed up, they asked if they could search my home. And of course, I asked them if I needed to step outside, whatever made them more comfortable. But I wanted them to go ahead and, get that done and start looking for my baby. Now, I tried to ask a couple questions, and they just kind of looked at each other after they searched and were like, okay, it's all clear. Let's move on. And then left. Nobody really answered any questions for me for a long time.
What was the next thing that happened in your world?
Well, the next thing that happened was I am being advised that it would probably be best, advised, but not advised, which makes no sense to me, but that is what has been said, that I should stay put in my own home. And then shortly after that, my fiance, and the roommate that we have at the time, we're getting picked up by the sheriff's office and investigators. We go and we spend, I think it was almost 16 hours up there. Now the entire time I'm being asked 20 million questions that I'm able to answer with no problem. They keep trying to say to me, I feel like there's something you're not telling us. I feel like there's something you're not telling us. Well, finally,
Okay, hold on.
for a second.
Who took you where?
The sheriff's department, and they had a few of the investigators with them. They took us up to the
where?
Polk County Sheriff's Department.
So you were there, your fiance was there, and your roommate was there, and they were peppering you with questions really about where's Audrii? When have you last seen her? Did you take her? Did you hide her? Questions
And
of that nature,
about the
correct?
messages between Stephen and I from the night before. And they were asking me if
Yes, now that's very curious, Cassie, because I find those text messages that McDougal sent you very, very incriminating for him because he is playing on your emotions. He knows how much you want to see Audrii.
Exactly.
So basically, Cassie,
Exactly.
McDougal is using your daughter as bait to lure you down to the river.
He's
where
like,
her
never
body
mind.
was
Never
later
mind.
found.
No, I want to. Okay.
Why was he doing that? And claiming he was going to keep it secret from her dad. What was his game?
Well, when he first approached me, and see, when I say approached me, it was all through Facebook Messenger. I've never had his number or anything like that. But he had said that he was Audrii's babysitter, which was instant red flag. I didn't understand. But he had said that he wasn't going to pick parents' sides, that he was concerned about what Audrii wanted and how she felt, and that he
Bullshit. He knew he was going back to jail in a fucking week because he had a court hearing coming up, and he knew he was going to get arrested because he was being. They just opened up the fucking shit on his ass the week before it happened. He knew he was going to jail. He knew he was going to jail. He planned this shit out.
he thought it was wrong.
He planned this
for her
out.
to be kept from me if she wanted to know
That's
me.
a bunch of shit.
So
He
he played
planned
on the
this
fact
out.
that I was desperate for anything. I wanted pictures. I just anything that had to do with my daughter. And for a minute, I could have believed that. But then I thought more into it, and I just knew something was wrong. And I had been speaking to my family about it. I'd been telling my fiance told me from the jump not to associate with him in any way. Do not. But he doesn't understand how I was feeling when I just
Yeah,
I
she
was
just wanted to do
craving
whatever she could.
something of my daughter.
Whatever
Did
she
you have
could.
any idea this freak was your daughter's babysitter?
Not until he had messaged me, and I had tried to contact Josh, wondering what the is going on. And I asked my family over and over again if they could try to contact, and they tried to get no answer. I wanted to know why a man that nobody knows is being left with my 11-year-old daughter. I mean, he could have chose anyone else under the sun, and it would have been okay.
Yeah,
He
him, not the
invited me
mom.
down
Him.
to go fishing to see
The
my daughter. Well, for one, I knew better. But at this point, knowing what I know now, I feel like he did something to Audrii Wednesday before he even messaged me. And that
Interesting. But what would he tell the grandma and the dad? What would he tell
he
the
would
grandma
have
and the
gotten
dad?
rid
though?
of me as well, and then it would have been chalked up to I kidnapped my daughter and I ran with her, and people would have forever been looking for two people that don't exist, not looking in a river.
Wow. Wow.
Question.
Wow.
So you believe this was part of a bigger plan? Why do
He
you
planned it for
believe,
sure.
Cassie?
Because he was going to jail. He knew it.
In his mind, to kill Audrii.
He knew it. He was going to jail.
I don't understand that at all. Actually, I can understand the little bit of hatred that he would have for me, because I would be the only person that could remove her from the home, you know, where he was already residing. I have no idea why he felt the need to. I actually, you know what? And this is, oh my God, it makes me sick to my stomach to say, but I think that in a pedophile's mind, they see a child and they see their actions as an adult would see another adult. Okay, I feel like maybe he was in love.
Right. Like I said, if you like oranges and they're telling you you're not allowed to like oranges because it's not humane, and they're telling you we're forcing you to like apples, it doesn't happen. I'm sorry. It don't happen.
With my daughter, and he thought that maybe at one point she did say that he was her favorite person or something like that. Maybe he was good to her, but she was looking at him as nothing other than an uncle, the way a child should, you know.
Right.
If at most.
Right.
Cassie,
But what if
do
he was
you
in-
believe
but what if
he
was in
had
love with my daughter?
already?
What if he tried to make an advance on my daughter, and he didn't get the reaction that he wanted? He either snapped or he knew that she would tell. That is what I think.
Do you believe he had already molested her?
That's what she's saying, Nancy. She's saying that's what she just said, Nancy. That's what she just said. Now you, my gosh, I don't understand some questions that people ask. She already answered your question, Nancy. What the hell, man?
I don't know. Do you know that I didn't find out that her
Come on,
parents were
Nancy.
on the debate until I watched your interview?
Oh.
Tim Miller.
See what I'm saying? That's why. Listen, I know. Listen, I don't even care for Nancy's, dumb shit that she does. But this is what I'm saying. She's been coming out with some breaking shit when it comes to these cases here. These children and this college student. Listen to that. The mom didn't even know until she interviewed the search team. Isn't that crazy?
Miller.
That's why we're watching Nancy
And you
right
know
now.
what, Cassie? I didn't know either until I was talking to Tim Miller, and he told me live at that moment. I didn't know that either.
Right.
And it felt like a knife in my heart.
Yeah.
How
I'm
did
really
you
trying to hold it together.
I bet.
I'm
sick.
sorry, Cassie. I am
sick to
so
my stomach.
sorry.
I don't understand.
Cassie, how did you learn that they had found Audrii?
A lady from the sheriff's department, and one of the jailers, I believe, was sent to my home to tell me and to sit with me until a family member or some type of support. They weren't supposed to leave me alone, and they didn't.
Wow,
she was
that's
really good to me,
awesome.
but I just knew in my stomach when my fiance come to the room, because I hadn't gotten out of bed. I was just stuck in my bed when he had come to me and said that there was a lady from the sheriff's department at the door and that they needed to speak with me. I knew in my and
You know
honestly,
what, Cassie? I don't know how people know that, but when I found out that I was supposed to call my fiance's sister, I knew he was dead. I knew right then. So when you hear there's a sheriff lady at the door, you knew that Audrii.
I knew my stomach dropped. My heart just everything just stopped for a minute, honestly. And I felt like I couldn't breathe when she told me. I didn't.
What did she say? Did she reveal anything?
No. She looked me in my face, asked me to sit down, and then she said, "This is not news that I want to be giving you right now." And I started bawling, and she was like, "Yeah, you know, baby, you know." And she was right. And honestly, I still don't know how to process any of this. If you want me to be nothing but truthful, I am in search for a therapist at the moment because
Aww.
I have been a
I hope she's
depressant
able.
with extreme anxiety since I was 15 years old. I am so scared
Oh,
that this is going to be a
no.
depression that I can't get myself out of.
She's reaching out. Please, she's reaching out. Somebody. She's reaching out. Some organization or whatever it may be, please reach out, because I was covering a case last year and the mom was so heartbroken. Please don't let it end the same way. She's reaching out.
I feel numb. I don't feel much of anything.
Fuck the money, fuck the insurance, fuck all that shit. Whatever agency or whatever organization, fuck the insurance, fuck the funding. Do this out of the kindness of your own fucking heart, please.
Oh, baby, you know. And she was right.
I hope.
And honestly, I still don't know how to process any of this. If you want me to be
This shit's
Nothing
tough.
good.
I'm sorry. This shit's tough. Because it makes me think of the fucking case from last year. It's
Truthful. I am in search for a therapist at the moment because I have been a manic depressant with extreme anxiety since I was 15 years old. I am so scared that this is going to be a depression that I can't get myself out of. I feel numb. I don't feel much of anything else at all. I feel numb. I don't sleep. I just sit there and I watch videos and look at pictures and I read all of these comments on the internet and that's all I can do. All I can do is just put all of my thought into this in general. I can have someone sitting right next to me and they're talking to me and I don't hear a word that they say because I'm just
Cassie, I'm going to hook you up with a therapist. I've got somebody for you, a lady for you to talk to, and I'll hook you up with her in just a few moments. Cassie, did you have any idea about McDougal's record? Why was he living in the backyard? Why did he have access to the home?
So I had no idea until I made the Facebook post and people started commenting, because as much effort as they put into keeping me away, I figured they would put the same type of effort into knowing the people that were around. If I would have known that I needed to do her father's job because he didn't give a to do it, I would have known. But I knew.
I've got a question for you, Cassie.
Right.
You said that as soon as you told your fiance he wants to meet me down by the river and he's going to bring Audrey, your fiance immediately said, do not talk to this guy. Stay away from him. Did everybody know this guy was bad news? Why would he say that?
He did not like the fact that he was like persistent on trying to get me alone. He said that he had a bad feeling about him and that there just something wasn't right. And my fiance is an excellent judge of character. He really is.
He was right. Question to you. Did you discover that McDougal was actually going door to door like he was looking for Audrey?
That's the part right there that just infuriates me to the point where I could put my hands around his throat and squeeze and not stop. How do you know damn good and well what you did to my daughter, and then you search for her like you care? You don't care. You killed my daughter, and then you want to search for.
When you found out that Audrey was missing and McDougal writes he was taking her to the bus, did you ever text him or call him and say, where's Audrey?
He messaged me, actually, and he said, hey, have you seen Audrey? She didn't make it home off the bus. And I said, where the is my kid, Steven? Because I knew.
He was trying to cover his tracks. I wonder if he was trying in some way to set you up. I can't figure it out.
Yeah,
But
that's what it
guarantee you
was,
this,
Nancy.
Ms. Matthews, I will figure it out. I will figure it out. And I want you to know, not only are we praying and thinking about you.
Man, that was tough.
We're not letting go of this until this guy gets a Texas death penalty.
Yes. I wish
Can I be honest?
I wish she would have offered one of her prior guests the same help. Instead, she offered a bunch of harsh words instead. I'm glad she got help for this mother, but it reminds me of how she treated another. And just a couple days later, unfortunate news. It's as much as I applaud her right here, I'm also shaking my head at Nancy too. So I do applaud her for getting help for real, because she needs it too.
No, you don't care if he gets the death penalty. Other people do.
I actually don't want him to receive the death penalty only because I am not God. It is not my place to, judge when somebody else's life ends. And that to me is an easy way out for him. I have to live with the fact for the rest of my life that I will never see my daughter again, the things that happened to my daughter. And I feel like he should get life without parole, so he has to deal with all of the repercussions every single day for the rest of his life just as well.
Do you think he cares? Do you think McDougal
No, see,
will
that's
sit
the thing.
in jail and feel
No, see,
sorry?
that's
He
the
knew
thing.
he
Let me
was
tell
going
you
back.
something. He can
I
get
never
right with
expect
God
him-
on his way to
No.
hell.
I never expect him at all to even have any type of remorse, because you could see it in his face, the type of monster he is and the things that he did to my daughter. But the other people that he will have around him will damn sure make sure that he does not enjoy a single minute of it.
Miss Matthews, I want you to try, and I know these are just words that don't mean anything. You've got to stay strong, because you've got to make sure there is justice for Audrii. You have got to stay strong. Don't fall into that depression and spiral down to where you can't get out. You've got to be her mom now and stay strong and be her voice, because nobody else has been her voice. And now it's on you, Cassie. You got to be her voice. And you can do
I
that.
failed my daughter
Thank you
once
for-
by being bullied into submission and being made to believe that she was in a good home, but I will not fail my daughter again, Nancy. That's everybody thinks that I don't care, that I'm just shrugging it off. Oh, she's not crying, she's
don't
not
think
this, she's
that.
not that. No, I break down in my home where I'm comfortable. My grieving is not everyone's business, but what is everyone's business is the fact that this isn't over and things need to be done concerning my daughter. So if I got to keep a straight face and I got to look heartless for it, well, so be it. But if I'm sitting there breaking down,
Who cares
I'm
what
not
they
getting a damn
think?
thing done.
Who cares what they think? All that matters now is what God thinks and getting justice. That's all that matters right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Cassie, thank you for being with us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for everything that you've done and how much effort you've put into this. It means a lot to me. I appreciate your realism, your straight to the point, the fact that you're not just trying to be somebody's best friend. You are in the interest of the child, my child. And I appreciate all of the information that I have obtained from you, whether you knew you were giving me the information or not. I just appreciate you in general. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Cassie. Now joining me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. But before we get going with them, you've got to hear it from the horse's mouth. Take a listen to McDougal as they're trying to get him to put his pants on to appear before the justice of the peace, the judge.
Come on. JP wants to talk to you. Where's your clothes? Hold on.
I ain't got no clothes.
Well, put your smock on for now. Well, come on out here. Well, no, man. You come on, man. Don't disrespect me like that.
I ain't wearing no dress.
All right, well, wrap up in that. Wrap up in the blanket. Come on.
You have the right to remain silent and not make any statement at all. And know that any statement that you make.
Shout out to the community for dropping it in our chat. I apologize. I just didn't feel like making a highlight or a short video about it.
You are hearing Stephen McDougal behind bars refusing to put on any pants. What a stubborn jackass. Now, Dr. Bethany Marshall, you're the shrink, not me. Bethany Marshall, high-profile psychoanalyst, joining us out of LA at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, I mean, my diagnosis is he's a jackass. What's yours?
Well, I thought two things. One, well, the officer just said he was being disrespectful, but I was wondering if he was malingering a psychiatric illness, like acting crazy to get a more lenient sentence. The other thing I wondered was,
Exactly.
did he have an erection? And the reason I wondered that is he's already a child molester, allegedly. Is he also an exhibitionist? Because all these perversions tend to go hand in hand. So I don't know if the officer is allowed
Interesting.
to say, but that was one of my first
Can I
questions as an
ask you
animal.
something, Dr. Bethany?
Yeah, he wants to
How
play
is
the insanity. He
put
wants to
on your
play it.
clothes? How is that some kind of stimulant to give him an erection? If anything, I think my diagnosis is much better than yours, Dr. Bethany.
What is yours?
He's a jackass. I mean, you know, and there's more to it than just that. Lana
Plain
Shadwick joining me,
insanity.
high-profile lawyer out of this jurisdiction where Audrii was murdered, where I believe this little 11-year-old girl was molested. What does that mean? Again, I'm the one putting the perfume on the pig. It means she was
Perfume on
either raped or sodomized or both.
Jeez, Nancy.
This little girl is dead from blunt force trauma. And I believe she was molested before she was killed. Lana Shadwick joining me, former judge and prosecutor
Probably,
in
Nancy.
this jurisdiction, now legal analyst for Breitbart. You can find her at lanashadwick.com. Lana, really? He wouldn't put on his clothes? And you know, a lot of people would say, oh, that's wrong to make him appear wearing a blanket. BS. That's his decision. If he wants to show his rear end that way, then he can. The Constitution doesn't protect him from his own personality.
No, it doesn't. And he's a psychopath. I mean, anyone who could, number one, go the next morning and be at a donut shop right across from the courthouse. The judges can see you out the windows. How delusional are you? Go house to house, you know, and where's Audrii? Where's Audrii? Clearly the sign of a psychopath. Psychopath that murders, that lures people in. There's social media accounts that says he appeared to be a nice guy at times, but he's a psychopath.
But Nancy, he's also a very attention-getting psychopath. He loves the attention. You know, going to the donut shop, going house to house. Of course, he's trying to draw attention away from him. But on the other hand, you use the term jackass, and I would say histrionic jackass. And that means somebody who just loves being in the limelight and loves getting the attention. And who's he trying to get attention from? Little kids. I mean, that is what's so alarming and frightening and disturbing about all of this.
Histrionic. You know, it reminds me of a little old lady that lived in my hometown, rural Bibb County in the middle of Georgia on a red dirt road. No matter whose funeral it was, she would wait till right before the family came in and walk down the aisle being assisted on both sides and carried up front. And somehow every funeral and every wedding was about her. That's how I define histrionic. It's just over the top drama. And it's all about you. Yeah, I can see that, but I'm still sticking with jackass. Chris McDonough joining me, director, Cold Case Foundation, former homicide detective, over 300 homicides under his belt that he's investigated or worked on. I found him in the interview room. That's his YouTube channel during the Kohberger trial. The Kohberger investigation. Chris McDonough, when you get a defendant like that, Chris, I had a guy, a drug lord. He had very violent, and the Constitution doesn't protect you from yourself. Guess what he wore to court? He wore red, bright, fire engine red leather pants and a bright fire engine red leather bomber jacket, tons of gold chains. And guess what? The witness said about the perp that was selling dope that night. He had on a red leather jacket and red leather pants. I was so happy. The Constitution did not protect him from his own personality. Same thing here, McDonough. Guy won't even get dressed to go in front of the judge. They have to force him to put on a blanket to cover up his penis and his naked rear end.
Jeez, Nancy, he's just It's
It's
he's
just
trying to
another
go
slap in the
insanity.
face to the system as a whole. And this guy always felt that he was above the system. Look how he played the cops just in that clip, Nancy, out by the subway. He's just leaning against the car, like he's having an everyday chit chat. He's an evil statistic, or sadistic child
I
murderer,
want
and
to
he's
see
going to go
that.
down into the
Liz,
joint
if you
like
could
that.
put that up. And you also have video, Liz, from the other side. And I can see him just, reared all propped up on the back of that car. Oh, yep, that's it. And I can see he's moving. But he's just casually kicked back. Chris McDonough's right. He's not worried. Why?
Yeah, he
Nobody's
is.
going to testify.
He is worried. You can tell by his body movements. He keeps, unless he's tweaked the fuck out or something, he keeps fucking doing all this shit. Yeah. The dude's fucking nervous as shit.
Against him because
Look at him. He won't
the
stop
victim
moving.
is dead. He knows
won't
that.
stop
And
moving.
here he is refusing to come into court with clothes on. Guys, take a listen to the judge.
He's just
speaking
constantly
to
moving. He's nervous as
McDougal.
hell.
You have the right to terminate any interview at any time, and you have the right to examine your trial if you're accused of a felony. Do you understand your rights, Mr. McDougal? Yep. Okay. Do you want a court-appointed attorney, or you gonna hire your own? Nope. Which one?
He's one or the other.
You gonna hire your own?
He's tweaked the fuck out or he's nervous as shit.
All I need you to do is sign right here for me. Your charge is capital murder, and it's a no bond.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, joining me right now is Bob Price. And Bob is associate editor, senior news contributor, Breitbart. Bob, thank you for being with us. I love this judge. First of all, I also want to thank KTRK for getting that video, because I can tell you about it till I'm blue in the face. But a picture
What's up, sweet
speaks
surrender?
1 million words. A video, 2 million. So thanks, KTRK. Bob Price, I love this judge. She's like, here's a guy covered in tattoos, about to be arraigned in the murder, and I believe we're going to see sex charges as well, of an 11-year-old girl. He's buck naked. They forced him to use a blanket. She just keeps right on reading his rights. She doesn't care. Doesn't blink
Ticket
an eye. I
64.
love
What's
her.
up, Latitude?
Nancy, I was told that he actually dropped the blanket in front of the judge as well. It's clearly he's reaching for attention. This is one despicable
He's
human
trying
being.
to
and
be insane.
I'm using the term human being very loosely here.
He's trying to
He's an
play it
animal,
off.
and you can tell by not only what he did to Audrii Cunningham, but other people throughout his life. He pled guilty to a charge in Montgomery County, just 50 miles away from here, in December. And had he been sentenced on that case, he would have been in jail and not been able to take this action against Audrii. And then we had other cases. There's so many times in this seemingly irrelevant string of events that all came together leading to Audrei's murder, where one single action could have changed the course of Audrei's life and saved her life. And yet, time and time and time again, Stephen McDougal was given another chance. The father said he wanted to give him another chance. He committed at least 3 assaults that I know of in the last quarter of the last year. I don't know what second chance this guy thinks he deserves, or what anybody else around him thinks he deserves.
Right.
The law enforcement sources inside the jail say that he is clearly a psychopath, but they said he's also very competent to stand trial.
He don't want to because he
I'm
knows
going to
what's
circle
going to
back
happen.
with Dr. Bethany Marshall on the fact that psychopathy does not mean you are legally insane. That's like saying Ted Bundy was a psychopath. That did not mean he was insane and shouldn't go to trial. Guys, also with me is a renowned death investigator, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, and author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon. He's also the star of a hit podcast series, Body Bags, with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, I want to have a little reality check. While we're kicking around this guy, that actually drops his blanket. Bob Price, joining us from Breitbart, just said a reporter reported that he drops the blanket so the judge can see all of his genitals and rear end. You know what?
Thank you, Nancy,
It's
for
almost
downplaying that
laughable, and
one.
we can kick around, he's a jackass, but you know what? He's a killer. That's what he is. And I don't want to make light of him. I want the world to know what happened to Audrii. And Joe Scott, You've been in front of many a jury, as have I. I've seen them wince when I describe what happened. I've seen them literally turn their face away from a witness on the stand, a witness like you.
Whoa.
From the medical examiner's office.
My cup's so full, I
But
almost
you
spilled.
can't turn away from the truth and excuse this guy for just being a rear end. Tell me what happened to this 11-year-old girl.
He don't know.
Nancy, he put his hands on her.
You know
he
he did.
beat her. He probably choked her. And then at the end of all of this, he ties this rock to this precious little angel's body vis-a-vis another rope.
Speak
that
it,
he had
Joe.
weighted her
Speak it,
down
Joe.
in the Trinity River and left
Unfortunate.
her there. And she's literally oscillating in the water. Her body is spinning around and around and around and around. And he drives off and disregards her. And let me tell you one more thing.
Yep.
If you like that one. We're coming off the heels of Adam Montgomery's trial up in New Hampshire relative to that precious angel, Harmony Montgomery. I see a lot of similarities here because, you know, Adam Montgomery, he couldn't even show his face in court to stand before the court
Right.
to answer for what he did up there.
Right.
This is the same pattern. They can abuse, they can treat young children like this, and then they don't expect that there is going to be any hell to pay. And let
Yep.
me tell you something, hell's coming with this guy.
Let me plead
Just like it did with
insanity.
Adam Montgomery. Because he literally,
he's mad too. Look
literally
at him.
carried that little girl around from place to place to place, treated her like garbage, and that's what this animal has done with this precious baby.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lana Shadwick joining me, and everybody on the panel, please jump in. You're the brain trust. Lana, reminding me again of where I grew up in rural Bibb County, not even inside the city. As her body was being taken to the funeral home, the community came out and lined
What's up,
the
Matt?
streets. That's what we would do when I was growing up, and a funeral procession would go by. And of course, if you're in your car, you pull over and turn your lights on and turn your car off to stop the world just for a moment. And when I think of everybody lined up along the sides of the street as her body went by, it just breaks my heart, Lana.
Prayers.
And this was that scene that you're seeing right there is the donut shop. So he stood in front of that donut shop nonchalantly, like, I can handle this, I can fool everybody, whatever. And then this is where her body is brought back. It's right across from the courthouse. It was devastating for the community, and the streets were lined. People are just the heaviness, the sadness, the grief that surrounds the entire community. There's only 5,600
Not many
in
people.
Livingston, Texas.
Not many
There's
people.
52,000 in Polk County.
Not many people.
The social media and the public backlash, I mean, it's just been, and the grief, it's just been amazing.
Nancy, there's another irony in all of this.
We're good.
Just like he showed his private parts to that little girl, he wanted to show his private parts to the judge too. So he does the same thing everywhere, just like he stood nonchalantly in the donut shop so that the judges could see him across the street. He was very nonchalant about molesting and killing this poor angel, as we've been calling her. And so this guy is consistent in all of his patterns. He's hysterical, he's histrionic, he is a psychopath. And you asked earlier about that. A psychopath is not a psychiatric illness. He's not crazy. It's a personality disorder. And this personality disorder lacks a conscience, loves to kill, loves to inflict cruelty. They're very sadistic because that's how they get sexually excited. And that is the MO for this crime. And you know what? He's excited by all this attention as well. And that's the sick part of this upcoming trial, is he'll get off on it, Nancy, just like he got off on killing a child.
You think I care what he does behind bars? Have at it. You know, Bob Price joining me from Breitbart, Texas. Bob, I am now hearing, of course, we've heard from Cassie Matthews, who is Audrey's mother, but I'm now hearing the other side of the family, the grandma, the grandpa, the dad, the bio dad, who let this guy live in the backyard in a camper and have full access to their home when the little girl was there. I mean, I don't let people just wander into our home when the twins are there. Oh, HELLNO. I don't know you. You're not going to go traipsing through like a parade in New Orleans on Mardi Gras. No, that's not happening. But now, wait for it. They're actually saying that the system failed them, Bob Price. The system failed them because they did a background check and they didn't know he was a sex offender. BS. They're saying they didn't know he wasn't on the sex offender registry. That's BS. Because isn't it true, Bob Price, that he got a 2-year sentence for when he got in bed with that little girl? He was charged with enticing a minor and more. He got a 2-year sentence. That's not a misdemeanor. If it's a 2-year sentence, that would be a felony, which would have showed up on his record. Yes, no.
Joshua Cunningham, it's you that let your daughter down. It's not, the system certainly did let her down as well, but it took me about 30 minutes of doing some Google researches online to find out not only had this guy crawled into bed with another 10-year-old girl, and pedophiles have a range. They have a range of age, very tight bracket they're attracted to. And this little girl and Audrey were basically the same age within a few months of each other at the time of their attack. And not just this crime against this little girl, but dozens of crimes from 2001 till 2 months before Audrey was murdered. He was being charged, arrested, convicted of crimes, violent crimes, and had no business being around any child, let alone this little 11-year-old angel. It's pathetic that these parents, this grandmother and father, would allow this animal around their daughter. I wouldn't let him within 30-6 range of my daughter or grandchild.
And now the hypocrisy of saying, oh, the system let her down. It's the system's fault because he wasn't.
It's a whole bunch of people.
Offender. Yeah, well.
And the first day we covered this case, when it broke and everybody was getting mad, not everybody. There was people getting mad at me saying, you shouldn't be blaming all these people. Yeah, because I was going, it's this fault and this fault and this fault and this fault. Sorry, I speak real. I know sometimes it may be a little, scruffy. I got that smooth face, but it may be a little scruffy sometimes. But it's all 150% real. Period. Because I'm not changing for anybody because I know where I come from. And I know I come from a good spot.
You know what? That was the prosecutor's fault for not pushing that.
He had to have, Regina.
Plea deal, which it was
He's
such
sick.
a sweet
He had
plea deal.
to.
It makes me sick to my stomach. He didn't even have to say I'm guilty. He got to say no low contendere, and he didn't even contest it. He took his sentence, and I believe that sentence, Lana Shadow. Was
so
2
he didn't
years,
have to
which means
register.
It was a felony, which means you heard Bob Price say all you had to do was Google him. For Pete's sake.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't have
all
to
we
go
did.
get,
I mean, hell, that's why I was surprised that nobody knew about why he didn't have to register, because we just did a Google search when we found out, we just did a Google search and you could see why. It's disgusting because when I first heard about it, I was like, how in the hell is this dude not on a registry? Remember? I'm sitting there going, how in the hell is this dude not on a registry? And the community was saying, but look, here's the link. We looked it up. Holy shit, this is why. Yeah, part of it is the system. That's why you hear cases like, Henrietta. Shout out to them. I want to share this with you guys again. Give me a second because I got to pull it up. The Knight's Law 2.0. When it comes to the case in Henrietta, same fucking shit. How they let these people slip through these damn cracks really gets it. It's ridiculous because you're not thinking about the damn children. Knight's Law 2.0. Stop by. Drop a signature. You can sit there and you can read up about it. We'll go into it on another show. It didn't post the whole link again. Hold on. Let me do this. There. Click on that. And it'll take you there. It's the same bullshit. Think about the children. This goes for all of them. Yes. Everybody that I said in the beginning when we started covering this case, because it's the damn truth.
Rap sheet and pay $25 for it. You can look it up on Google, for Pete's sake. They knew he
That's
had a
right.
record.
He had possession of a dangerous
I know,
drug, Liberty
Danny.
County,
I know. That's why
2003,
I told people
2006.
I might
Another
have to dip.
possession, in 2006, assault on a public servant, which is exactly what the Aryan Brotherhood, they have to assault.
When it comes to the mother, okay, I'm like I said, we're not going to go through it tonight because I'm going to cover Laken Hope Riley's case tonight too. Okay. We got Koberger live hearing tomorrow. We got game night tomorrow night. Thursday night, we'll be covering some of these updates and we'll go through and we'll read all the messages because I've been reading them since last night. All of the emails and messages that are getting leaked between the families and why they were treating the mother the way they were treating her, okay? I've been reading them since last night. But we'll go through those on Thursday. We got to cover Laken Hope Riley too. And I want to, if anybody does want to call after we're done with this, I'm going to show a little video, okay, of why he didn't have to. But if you want to call, you're more than welcome to voice how you feel about this case. If you want to call in, I'll open up the phone after this next video is done here in just a couple minutes.
Servant or a correctional officer in order to be part of a gang. He was convicted of that assault on a public servant and served time. And then the enticing of a child out of Brazoria County in 2008. 2010, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. 2014, reckless driving, and then another aggravated assault in 2019, and another thumb to the nose.
Another.
In 2023, when he was convicted of resisting arrest. This man is a man of violence. And
well, how can they now claim it's the system's fault? You can find all that on a Google search. You don't have to go into official court records. And what I'm trying to say, why I keep talking about the sentence was 2 years and more, because a misdemeanor, which would not show up as a felony conviction, is 12 months or less. When you have 2 years or more, that means you've been convicted on a felony, which absolutely would have shown up. So I don't understand why now they're claiming like the system failed.
It was a bunch of people. It was a bunch of people.
Really quickly.
What's up, Memory?
Figure out. Hold on. By price.
That's
do we
true.
know yet what the formal charges are going to be?
They should be
right
free.
Right now, it's a capital murder charge. Plus, he has the outstanding charge for aggravated assault, causing serious bodily injury to David. I'm sorry, I forgot David's last name. Who he assaulted in August last year. David.
Right. Yes.
David, sorry. So he committed at least 3 assaults in the last quarter or the last 6 months of
But we know that right now he's going to be charged with capital murder. You know,
Yes.
I'm waiting to find out if the
And you heard the freaking investigators before, you know, that leaked fucking call. We dropped the ball and we're trying to find the ball to get it fixed. That one. This was when was this? The 22nd, 23rd, when we came across this. This was I was getting ready to get to bed, and I just got done doing a bunch of the post prep for the show. And all of a sudden I came across this and I was like, are you serious? So I had to ask you guys, did LE fail Audrii? We're not just talking about freaking CPS or the dad or the grandma or this dude right here. No, we're asking about LE too. These cases just don't get enough attention, like Idaho 4 and shit, and I don't understand why. I really don't, because it's like, this shit is going on right now. These are children. This is why we're doing this show tonight. I don't care about the Idaho 4 attention. No, we're going to talk Idaho 4 tomorrow. We need to talk about these tonight. I don't understand why these don't get more attention. You know what I mean? Because that video right there that I just shared with you sits at 141 fucking views. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the hell? But we're going to talk about shit that's been talked about for a fucking year already. And that's where the attention goes. Come on, true crime community. Come on.
There are going to be sex charges
True crime community
performed against this little girl. Joe Scott Morgan, back to you, death investigator. What is the holdup? How quickly, upon a rape kit exam, which is an examination of the rectum and the vagina,
we know this, Nancy. Come on, jeez.
Though she had been in water.
You don't want to swear. You don't want to swear. You don't want to say shit, but you're going to sit there and just, come on, man. I mean, I get it's real shit, but damn, come on. We all...
water. How long is that going to take? And if sperm DNA is found, then we got to make a DNA comparison, correct?
Yeah, we do. And they've got him. He's a known. So they'll do the buccal mucosal swab on him, the scraping. So they have that in a static position.
You
so
mean
they have
the mouth?
Yeah.
Just reach in your mouth with something that looks like a Q-tip and get saliva and cells from the inside of your jaw, like a COVID test. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so he's a known, so they can compare that. What's going to be key here, though, Nancy, and keep in mind, this little angel was in a water environment, and it sounds as though that she's at least partially unclothed. Remember, they found her clothing on the riverbank here, which is significant. So any area, her vagina, her rectum, her mouth, it could be all flushed out. Here's my key, what I'm thinking about. She's very young, Nancy, and there may be a chance that if she was assaulted through this rape, that there would be evidence of vaginal trauma, anal trauma, whatever the case might be. And of course, that's going to fall to the forensic pathologist.
Bleeding.
Yeah, torn skin. And one more thing I got to point out here. This guy is so comfortable right now, Nancy. He's very comfortable the way he's behaving. One of the things that's really piqued my interest in this, if he's this comfortable assaulting.
If he's that comfortable, then he's tweaking like a motherfucker, Joe. Because Joe is the shit. And if Joe has came to the conclusion that he's comfortable, well, I'm just going to call a duck like a duck, and that motherfucker's tweaking.
first off, this other 10-year-old and this little
I just
darling
call a
here,
duck a duck.
I want to know, are there any unsolved cases that
When I
in this
smell a
age
steak, I don't
range
say it's
that
hot
are out
dog.
there that might be missing that he had proximity to?
Agree. He didn't just do this 2 times in his life.
No.
You can mark my words
No.
on that.
No.
And one quick thing, I know we got to go, and I don't want to lose you guys, but I just want you to look at this piece of video.
It's like somebody said in chat, when there's one that they get caught, there's usually 8 before that, unfortunately.
That has been unearthed. This looks to me like Audrii actually putting a tattoo on an adult male is what it looks like.
We
to
saw
me.
that too.
Look at this. This little girl.
All right, we saw that too. So let me go to this real quick.
Funeral services for 11-year-old Audrii Cunningham are less than a week away. But right now, advocates are pushing for changes to the law when it comes to the sex offender registry. Katira Winfrey joins us live to explain. Katira, break it all down for us.
Well, Marcelino, Don Stephen McDougal is charged with capital murder, accused of killing 11-year-old Audrii Cunningham. McDougal was convicted of enticing a minor back in 2007, but wasn't required to register as a sex offender. Advocates and lawmakers say going forward, that needs
Just
to
enticing
change.
a child.
It's been nearly a week since search crews pulled Audrii's body out of the Trinity River. McDougal was already in custody on an unrelated charge, when new charges were filed against him in Audrii's death. Andy Kahn with Crime Stoppers Houston is pushing to change legislation to require those convicted in certain child abuse cases to have to be registered as a sex offender. The specifics of McDougal's previous conviction for enticing a minor aren't clear, but Kahn says crime can include a variety of actions.
The language that we're going to have to specifically focus is where there's a conviction of enticing a child, where there's obviously a sexual notation to the offense, which was obvious in this particular case.
He asks those wanting to see Audrii's law passed to reach out to local and state legislators, and supporters hope to get legislation brought up in the next legislative session coming up in 2025. For now, reporting live in Houston, Katira Winfrey, KHOU 11 News.
Katira,
with me.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and leave it there. And give me a second. If you want to call in, you're more than welcome. What's up, Crime Solver? What I don't quite get is background check or not. Aren't the elaborate Nazi tats a bit of a... Well, and think about it, Crime Solver. They said how small the community was. You're talking 500 to 1,500, not even. I think we saw it was like 1,100 and something. So I don't know where the 500's coming from. But the last time I saw it was like 1126 or something like that. Last time I saw. Yeah, the question is did it, because this is what, okay, so if, like the mom was saying in this interview right here, right? Like the mom was saying in the interview. She feels that it was already done the day before, and this is where what I have a question about that. I would have to ask why she felt that way, because if you are dropping her off and taking her, right? If you're dropping her off at the bus stop every day and you're picking her up, then the day before, what are you telling mom and what are you telling grandma and dad? Right? Because if you're telling grandma and dad the day before that you know, you don't know what happened, I don't think they're going to wait a whole day to contact the mom. Because why would he be think about it. Why would he be texting the mom, "Hey, let's meet up," if she was already missing for a day? So I wonder if what I'm thinking is, I don't know about how it could be the day before, because I feel like the grandma and the dad would have been like, okay, well, let's contact the mom after she didn't get off the bus, right? Where is she, right? Or they would have been contacting her a couple hours later. Where is she? So I don't think that he did it the day before. I think he did it that morning. I think he was planning on her showing up. I think he was planning on that assault already being committed to poor Audrey. And I think what the mom did say about how he was probably going to try and potentially do the same thing with her. And then, like she said, people are going to think that the mom took off with the daughter and they're searching the United States and not in a river. And I think that's exactly what he was trying to do. I think what took place, right? Because remember, he was messaging the mom, and then he said good morning, which is before she would have been dropped off at the bus. He messages good morning back because mom reaches out and says good morning. And then you don't hear from him until Audrey is supposedly supposed to be off the bus, right? So what I think happened is when he got there, and this is why I feel like he was going to make these separate, is because when he got there and committed the first one, it had gone so array from what he was planning on. That's why he didn't reach out to the mother after the bus was supposed to pick her up, because it went way too awry, and he knew, okay, this isn't going to work. So I'm just not even going to say nothing. And then the next time I'm going to reach out and ask her where she's at, if she's seen her. I think so too, Pebbles. I think what the mom said was true. I think he was potentially going to do the same thing to her assault-wise, but definitely unalive her and potentially do the same thing. And then, like she said, you're looking for a mother and a daughter on the run throughout the United States, and you're not looking in a river. I think that's exactly what dude was planning. It just went too damn awry, and he wasn't able to. I think he was planning on doing it. They drove right by. Hey, let's go. You know what? Let's have a fun day, right? Let's take the day off. Is probably what he's telling her. And then he goes to that spot, and then, like mom says, he probably approached her. She didn't want that. Tried to get away. Shit went awry. And the reason that I feel like he didn't contact the mother, because he was going to contact the mother after the bus was supposed to pick her up. He was only going to need 15 minutes to commit this crime for his plan to work out. But instead, it didn't end up going the way he thought it was going to go. And when the rock is introduced, unfortunately, there's splatter that shows up on your shirt. And what's dude gonna do, looking like, he ain't got no shirt, or he's got a shirt full of spots all over it? The mom would already know and probably take off and then say something right there, right? So he couldn't. There is no way he could, unfortunately. All right, let's see here. We're gonna switch to, and I usually don't use Fox News, but there's a group of people that are discussing Audrey's case and the border situation at the same time, and I think it both needs to be highlighted. So we're going to switch to that. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. And like I said, tomorrow, 11 Central, 12 Eastern, we'll be covering Koberger live court hearing. I'm going to be doing the HTC read-through Koberger message board after a year later. We'll be going into some of the other topics that we've been discussing lately as well.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley as the media blasts Republicans for daring to bring up the border crisis over it. Police reports revealing how the 22-year-old was beaten so badly. She suffered a, quote, disfigured skull. Her body was then reportedly dragged to a secluded area. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022. And as the nation debates the broken border, the liberal press would rather accuse Republicans of using Riley's death for political reasons.
This is disgusting.
Republicans obviously seizing on this horrific tragedy at the University of Georgia. They're seizing on this as an example of Biden's failure to protect the American people and to secure the border.
Riley's death igniting a political firestorm. State House Speaker John Burns indicating that the Georgia House this week will take steps on illegal immigration.
As if the initial facts were not horrifying enough or the sense of loss not deep enough by now, and all of it has now been compounded
Thank you,
by
Pebbles.
the revelation the suspect was in this country unlawfully.
Thank you, Pebbles.
And how quickly that fact became politicized.
The Democrats are no better. California Congresswoman Katie Porter says it's important we don't make too much out of this one innocent girl's murder.
One instance. Come
One
on.
instance shouldn't shape our overall immigration policy, which has so many.
One instance. You see what I'm saying? They downplay this fucking shit, man. These are people's fucking lives. What if this was your daughter, Katie Porter? Would you be saying the same shit about your daughter, Katie Porter? Probably not. Fucking disgusting.
Many different facets, including economic choices about what workers to allow in and how to create prosperity in America. So the situation is tragic and it's a loss, and it's important to acknowledge that, but also to recognize all the other how all the other parts of immigration policy fit together.
But let's not look too far into it, and don't change anything based on this poor innocent girl's murder. Jesse?
So much seizing. I want to be careful. I don't want to seize on this story or politicize this story. I hate to talk politics. This is what they do. They turn a policy disaster, a fatal disaster, into a process crime by Republicans. This is what they do. They don't want to talk about the sanctuary policy. They don't want to talk about the broken border. They want to talk about Republicans reacting. And then it becomes something that they're not on defense anymore. Now they're on offense. Now it's Republicans are politicizing a death. And this is how they get away with not solving any problems. The one woman in the soundbite, she was aghast that Georgia Republicans may take steps on illegal immigration. Oh, my goodness. You mean they might take steps to stop illegal immigration? They call that a political firestorm. Everybody else in the country calls it solving problems. And then Porter, we're not trying to trade economic growth for death. That's not the calculation. We still want immigration. That's fine. We just don't want illegal immigration. And we definitely don't want to keep illegal alien felons in the country so they can continue to commit crimes.
And he was allowed to.
He was allowed to. Want to make this out to be just one instance, but there are many instances in Letus in Virginia where a minor was assaulted by another Venezuelan illegal immigrant.
Well, Katie Porter should know better, because Katie Porter, although a congresswoman in California, is originally from Iowa. What happened in Iowa? Molly Tibbetts was killed in Iowa.
Wow.
So she actually has the gall to go on television and say one instance shouldn't shape overall policy. Are you kidding me? The overall policy of this country is to protect its citizens. It is the number one obligation of any nation to protect its citizens. And she's on there complaining that people are demanding that problems like this be solved. First of all, you have Molly Tibbetts, you had Kaylee Hamilton, you had Elizabeth Medina, and that's only in the past couple of years that I could think of without researching it. Not to mention the angel moms during the Trump administration, all of the mothers whose kids were killed by illegals, and President Trump tried to get the numbers of those to collect them, and there are certain states that wouldn't go along with collecting that information. So, you know, know, the liberals, I mean, as soon as someone dies from a gun, they call for gun control. But as soon as someone is murdered by an illegal, they never call for border control. They're not into that at all. But, you know, once Bragg in this city let the Venezuelans loose, right? And they end up going to, I think it's Arizona. Then Randall's Island, they start attacking the cops. And then you've got the Venezuelan in Virginia who just sexually assaulted a cop. The Venezuelans in Chicago, 4 of them who choked a guy and robbed him. I mean, this is only in the last couple of days.
Wow.
It's time that we stop the process.
Wow.
You can do it under the law. It's Section 212F of Title 8 of the immigration law. He can stop it. It's time that we recognize number one, we have to take fingerprints of every illegal. Fingerprints with a photograph. And I'm going to do you one better. If we don't take DNA from these illegals who are all claiming asylum, so at least we at some point will know that they are who they say they are, because they can make up any name coming into this country. Plus, if we have a database with illegals in that database, we can match up crimes that are unsolved going forward in the criminal justice system. And the bottom line is, until we know who they are, until we can identify them, they should not be allowed in this country. There are too many crimes that have been committed, too many lives that have been taken, and too many families have been destroyed. And to let people in about whom we know nothing. And we've got 7.2 million, and how many known gotaways and unknown gotaways? Now, why are they gotaways? Yes. Because they got away because they don't want to be identified, because they are criminals. There are criminals in the mix. I want to know who the pedophile is, who the batterer is, who's drunk and drives, who's an identity thief. They're in this group.
Yet the media says the real problem are Republicans.
Yeah, I mean, don't you guys understand that only Anderson Cooper can talk about this issue? Only Jake Tapper can talk about this issue. No one else can. So if you want the simplest way to identify truth, when the media claims you're seizing or you're pouncing, that means you've struck reality gold. If you say illegal aliens have killed an innocent young woman, that's a pounce. It's true. If a man claims to be a woman and beats real women in sports, that's a pounce, because it's true. If you say there are higher rates of crime, violent crime, that's a pounce, but it is true. When an anchor uses the phrase pounce or seize, they are telling you to shut up and stop telling the truth, stop doing their job, because then it reveals they're not doing theirs, that they're lying. You know, CNN accused Fox and this show of pouncing on the crime wave. The crime wave didn't go away, but Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon did, because we pushed the pounce. We called them accountable on this. And right now, there's good news. Everyone is pouncing on the news. We're seizing on the people who distort the information that they themselves control. That's the beauty, because Google Gemini, for example, is imploding because every single person can now pounce, because everyone's an expert on themselves. So you can put your name in there and see what they say. And then you learn what everybody in the media has already known for years, that they are lying to you, that they make up crap. Anybody can do it. Jesse, you put your name in to Google Gemini, you will find out, you will find the smear. It's great. Pouncing and seizing is what's going to save this country. Seize and pounce on every story. Hell, it saved Bud Light. If people didn't pounce on that, Bud Light would be done. Now they're back. It might actually save Harvard if they change their ways. It's going to save this country.
Harold?
There's no excuse for anyone in the media making the case that someone raising the point that our broken border is a part of what needs to be fixed to ensure that we don't have illegal migrants killing people. President Biden should reinstate some of the smartest and the best and most effective of the policies, executive orders that he rescinded when he was elected president. He also should probably shut the border down for a week or two. But I would remind everyone around this table that two things can be right. If the president of the United States in an executive order could reform the asylum process, President Trump would have done it. You know why I didn't do it? You can't. You have to have legislation to do that. The president of the United States, regardless of whom it may be, cannot have an executive order to spend more money to ensure that we get more people at the border to stop, catch, and release, so we have more people there, more law enforcement there. The president should Okay,
and that's going to be too political. I'm not a political show, but It's the fucking truth. And they're saying the damn truth too. We need to do better. We need to do better. And to sit there and say that it's one instance, no. No. If you'd like to call in while we're doing this, you're more than welcome. Just type in chat that you'd like to call, and I'll go ahead and turn it on for you. We're going to check out Law and Crime Network discussing this case as well.
In custody for Laken's murder. We are obtaining
It's the truth,
arrest
Detective.
warrants
Preach.
for Jose Antonio Ibarra.
Laken Riley, a 22-year-old nursing student at Augusta University in Georgia,
gotta do better.
attacked and murdered while running near campus.
Gotta do
we have
better.
5 things we've learned about her, the case, and the man charged with murdering her. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. Laken Riley was a happy, vibrant young woman studying to become a nurse at Augusta University in Athens, Georgia. Last Thursday, a friend of Laken's reported her missing just after noon when she didn't return from a run at the intramural fields. 30 minutes later, a police report says an officer found Laken lying on the ground unconscious while searching some woods. He called out to her, but she didn't respond. The University of Georgia officer said Laken had visible injuries and no pulse, so he started CPR. From there,
Yeah, her skull was disfigured. We'll just put it that way.
UGA police launched its first homicide investigation on campus in nearly 30 years. Police
just
Chief
put it that
Jeffrey
way.
Clark said video from campus security cameras led them to Jose Antonio Ibarra, a 26-year-old man in the country illegally from Venezuela.
Yeah.
Ibarra was living at an apartment building in Athens.
Investigations suggest that they had no relationship. He did not know her at all. I think this was a crime of opportunity where he saw an individual and bad things happen.
Chief Clark calls the evidence in the case robust. Ibarra faces a number of charges, including malice murder, felony murder, kidnapping, false imprisonment, and aggravated battery. Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms Jose Antonio Ibarra was arrested in September of 2022 after entering the country illegally. He was paroled and released. Then the NYPD arrested Ibarra in August of 2023 for acting in a way that could injure a child younger than 17, but he was released before an immigration hold could be placed on him. Then he was arrested on Friday for Laken Riley's murder in Georgia. Meanwhile, Laken Riley's family is preparing to lay her to rest at a funeral service in Woodstock, Georgia this Friday. Joining me to discuss the very latest in this investigation is somebody who's handled a lot of homicide investigations. He is retired NYPD cold case sergeant Joe Giacalone. Joe, first of all, they made some very quick work of making an arrest in this case. Your thoughts on how quickly they were able to piece this together? It sounds like the video surveillance on campus was really the key that led them to this guy.
Yes, Anjanette, the video surveillance has, played a key role in this, as well as many other cases that we see moving forward, and it's becoming an invaluable tool for investigators, right? So they're going out for these canvases pretty early, and when you're dealing with a college campus, we do know that there's video surveillance everywhere. So the idea is finding which ones, capturing that video, and making sure you can secure it as evidence becomes an important part of it. And the police chief did allude to other potential evidence, including maybe some electronic evidence too. So there might be cell phone information. There's a couple of things at play here yet that we don't know about, but I think they have enough evidence right now.
One thing we saw in some of the paperwork that's
There's a whole bunch obstructing 911 call, all sorts of stuff.
been released so far is the fact that they took a DNA sample from this guy, Jose Antonio Ibarra. And that DNA sample will be entered into CODIS, of course. They will compare it, I'm sure, to any evidence found on Laken Riley's body. We know that he is charged with aggravated assault in her homicide and a lot of other charges, false imprisonment, kidnapping, malice murder. So what else do you expect to happen since they've collected that DNA sample? Will they run it through CODIS and see if maybe he's connected to some other crimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're dealing with this kind of standard operating procedure now, right? So certain states could take DNA upon arrest, and certain ones still wait for that conviction, right? So you have, differences between different jurisdictions and states. So you have two main databases in CODIS, right? So CODIS is the combined DNA index system. You have what's called the forensic database, which is the DNA that's found at crime scenes that we don't know who it is. And you also then have the offender database, and those are the ones that we know who it is. So they will try to match up if anything comes back in the forensic database or that unknown database, if it comes back to any other crime scenes across the country. And it's a good first step to see if he's responsible for any other serial crimes, let's just say, that has happened throughout the United States since the time he's been in the country.
We'll get you back to Crime Fix in just a sec. But first, I want to tell you about our
We're not doing the coffee cup tonight. Hold on.
claim. Let's talk a little bit about his time in the United States. We know he was arrested in September of 2022 in El Paso, Texas, where he crossed the border illegally. He was paroled, as they say, and released pending further proceedings. Obviously, those further proceedings never happened, or else he, I think, would have been deported. He's later arrested. Fast forward to August of 2023, he makes it all the way to New York City, where he's arrested on a driver's license violation and this endangering somebody younger than 17 charge. That's that last year. And now he's down in Georgia, in Athens, Georgia, in a college town. So he's traveled across the country quite a bit. He's made quite a path. This is a really heinous, violent crime that he is accused of. So does somebody just kind of come out of the woodwork like this and commit a crime like this just all of a sudden? I mean, it seems very unusual that somebody would do such a thing just once. I mean, we don't know exactly how this unfolded or what happened. We will probably learn more about that in the future.
Well, yeah, we don't know exactly what transpired at the crime scene or what his motive was yet. But for instance, that triangle, so to speak, that he created from Texas to New York to Georgia, I mean, that's just why those DNA profiles and the search through the database become very important. That's a huge area for anybody who's traveled across the country, specifically by vehicle, car, or what have you. That's a long way from point A to point B to point C. So there's lots of different investigations that need to be done there. And yes, it's unusual, but not unheard of, right? So people have graduated to murder very quickly, but there are situations at hand where generally somebody progresses that way. We don't know enough about this man. We don't know anything about his history past from his home country. So it's difficult to say exactly what really going on here.
You know, there was something interesting that Chief Clark said on Friday night when announcing this. He said the evidence was robust. But he also said that this investigation is not over yet. So, Joe, you've handled a lot of homicides, cold case homicides over the years. You've supervised. What did that mean when he said that? Because they've got their guy in custody. They say the evidence is robust. What else is there to investigate?
Well, to me, this is a cop speak for we believe that he's responsible for additional crimes. And now that his photo has been posted everywhere, they're hoping that people will come forward and saying that, yes, this is what happened to me, or I had a bad experience with this guy, and what have you. So this is what they're actually looking for. And unfortunately, when you're dealing with the communities that are here illegally, they tend not to want to talk to the police for a couple of reasons, right? One is that they're here illegally and they're afraid of getting deported. And the second thing is that, from their home countries, they're afraid of the police. So he's trying to, I guess, put out that olive branch to everybody and say, listen, we're really not interested in your status here in the United States, but if there's something that this guy, he's committed a crime, please step forward because we want to make sure that all the victims get the help that they need.
And that's a pretty damn clear picture, too.
And in looking through the jail roster,
pretty damn clear
we saw
picture.
Somebody with the same last name as Ibarra. And it turns out it's his brother. And he's a few years older, but his name is Diego Jose Ibarra. And he is on an immigration holder now. They've got a holder on him, ICE does. So we assume that he will be deported, but he's accused of faking a green card. So Is there
Was
any
fired from
information that
UGA.
police can glean from him? He's living at the same address as his brother. So is there anything they can get out of him? Or is this something where they will just kind of put him through the legal system here and then deport him?
Yeah, more than likely. Listen, good police work has to do about debriefing and interviewing and talking to people, right? So you try to talk to or debrief anybody that you can help you with your case. You know, considering he's the guy's brother, he might not be forthcoming with information, but that doesn't mean you go in there with a defeated attitude. You give it an opportunity. Maybe he can give you some information to work with, or maybe he can give you some tidbit about something else that's going on within the community that they live and come from. So it's an important first step. And listen, the likelihood of him getting deported now, I think is pretty high. So maybe, he wants to make a deal too. He wants to stay in the country and he wants to be able to do something. And maybe he can give them some information, and the law enforcement can use it as leverage, so to speak.
Does your gut tell you that they will find that his brother, Jose Antonio Ibarra, that he will be found to have maybe committed some other crimes in the Georgia area, in the Athens, Georgia area? I mean, what is your gut telling you?
Well, I mean, we don't know for sure, right? So that's why I think the police just kind of put that out there and just saying, the investigation's not done yet. Because they could have very easily said, we got the evidence, we have the video, we have, let's say, other digital evidence, we have a witness, let's just say, case closed, we're moving on to something else, we'll see you at the trial. But they didn't say that. So I think that they believe that there are other potential victims out there and that they want them to come forward.
Just an awful case, Joe. I mean, this is a young woman. She was working toward a nursing degree at Augusta University. Seems very sweet by all accounts. We've read so many nice things about her. She was in a sorority. She worked hard. She does what a lot of girls do, a lot of college kids do, a lot of young women, young men do. She goes out for a run and her friends get worried, and she's literally within an hour found dead. I mean, it's so senseless, and I just can't even imagine what her family is going through right now.
Cases like these are always senseless, right? And unfortunately, we've seen a trend now in the last couple of years where women who have been, jogging on their own have been attacked and killed. So, we want to try to make sure that these
Shit, be careful walking up to your fucking door at home, ladies. Be careful walking up to your door at home. It's not just the woods. It ain't just the woods. It ain't just going for a damn jog. You could be going to get the damn mail. You could be going to get the damn mail. So sad. It just doesn't make any damn sense. And it's like, and then to downplay the situation. To downplay it for what? Because you don't want to admit the fact that this is a fucking problem. Just like you don't want to admit the fact that there's a mental health epidemic either. How about, this it's been about, not being accountable for so long, Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay not to look both ways before you cross the street. It's ridiculous, people. You know how many people nowadays don't even look both ways before they're crossing the street because it's like, what the fuck? So what if a human being has the right of way? Doesn't mean that somebody's not going to be fucking looking at their phone as they're driving through. Nobody wants to be accountable for what the fuck. They want to blame it on something else. Let's gaslight it. Like the case we were talking about last night with the manhunt. Vicky owes me some answers after they caught her. And it's like, bro, she broke protocol. You allowed her to break protocol. and you didn't even fucking watch to see if she was okay while she broke protocol. What the fuck answers does anybody owe except for you to the community and how you let an operation and people that were employed do that kind of shit in the first place? Because if somebody would have seen her leading the fucking prisoner out to the carport, somebody should have said that ain't fucking normal. Accountability. So many people, let's dish it off this way and let's dish it off this way. Be accountable. You got the fucking, with Audrii. The cowboy vest guy. He's sitting there talking like Monday press conference a week and some ago. Yeah, he lawyered up and we couldn't get him at this, and then a couple days later I showed you the video. I shared the link where the leaked audio came out. Yeah, we dropped the ball. It was a shit poor investigation. We dropped the ball and we're just trying to find the ball so we can fix it. What the fuck are you talking about? But in front of everybody else, let's deflect it. Yeah, he lawyered up real quick. Nothing we could do. Too many people that are even in these positions don't even take the accountability. That's why there's people that get wrongfully convicted, because they don't want to take accountability. Be accountable. Just like these parents that we're talking about, Audrey's dad, Jesse fucking Vue, Katrina Bauer. Be accountable. We have a accountability fucking problem. Why do you live 150? It's about being accountable. Because you're thinking about the other person before yourself, so you're automatically holding yourself accountable. Because if you think about somebody else before yourself, you're always thinking, would this make somebody mad, upset, cry, laugh? What would I feel like if I was in this situation? So when I do get upset about shit, I'm already thinking about the other side. And if I'm saying, yeah, they'd be upset that this shit was happening too, I'm going to be upset. It's sad, man. People relaxed and empowered. It just, and the thing is what are we all here for? Are we really here to destruct each other? Are we here to fucking help? If we don't think about our children first, well then, what the fuck? Because they're going to, 9 times out of 10, they're here longer than we are. We're supposed, this is what if you think about all of us are our individual soul. We're our own energy, our own soul. And I have to think that there is souls up there that weren't even blessed the gift of being in a human form. To be able to experience the things that we experience on this planet and on this solar system, this thing we call space, the ground that we walk on, the emotions that we get to feel, the anger, the hurt, the sadness, the happiness, all emotions. We are given a gift, I feel, that some souls don't even get. And when you look at life like that, damn. And then you look at how quick we are here and gone. Just a snap of a finger in time. Just a snap of a finger in time. Why don't we make an impact while we're here? Why don't we take this opportunity of being blessed with this gift called life and use it for the beautiful gift that we were giving to use it for? I'll never understand. Why do I work so hard? Because I don't even know if I'll be here tomorrow. It's too damn short. That's why I work my ass off. And I work my ass off for all of these cases that we talk about. People I don't even know. People that don't even know that I'm doing it. And I work hard as hell every single day, every minute. If you guys even understood you would see the 150 that I give, and because I may not be here tomorrow. Work my ass off today for these other beautiful souls out there. It's what we're here for. That's why you're here. That's why I'm behind this camera. That's why we're doing a show. That's why I created this. We just got to do better. We just got to do better. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out tonight. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a peaceful and positive evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll be on 11 Central, noon Eastern, covering Koberger. Different conversations continuing with the Idaho 4 case. And also I'll be reading the HTC Koberger message board that we did over a year ago. I'll be going through that again live with you guys tomorrow. So if you're not busy doing anything, I know there's everybody else being on there. If you want to come in and hang out, I definitely appreciate it. And thank you so much, everybody, for your support every single show when you show up. I really appreciate it. Y'all make the difference. And that's why I know that I'm surrounded by other souls that feel like I feel in the words that I just spoke. Y'all are here. I appreciate you. Please stay safe. And I hope we all get to see each other again tomorrow. Because we never know. But I'm going to give it everything that I got. I love you all. I appreciate you. Peace and positive evening and prayers. Good night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.